biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
There's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie, and you know that, but you just don't want to put it on the air.
As a matter of fact, I don't know that.
Want to get it off your chest? You're in the right place. They accuse this show of being run by boobs. Well, let me tell you something about us boobs. We're real and we're spectacular. Want politics and fun, sprinkled with a lot of laughs? Heard in every state in the Union and 770 cities around the world. We just finished our 13th year of broadcast excellence. Now in our 14th year, the Dave Weinbaum Show is streaming live all over the world. Slowly but surely, step by step, indictment by indictment, a grand jury by elaborate measures is producing a jigsaw puzzle, a real elaborate one, and they're trying to put this together. Durham has produced lying lawyers proving long-denied hoaxes that seem to be piecing together criminal activity that may put Hillary and the Democratic Party in jeopardy of significant jail time or much worse. Her conspiracy with other Dems, the Steele dossier, the FBI, the CIA, DOJ, FISA courts, are revealing a mass coup starting the day Donald and Melania sauntered down the escalator at Trump Towers and announced for his presidency. This all culminated in the coup d'etat, the Mueller investigation report, dominated by his crew of Hillary lovers and Trump haters. Mueller had no interest in finding the real truth. After 2 years and $40 million in taxpayer money, he couldn't find a charge strong enough to rid this country of the most patriotic president since Washington, maybe even more so. Instead of being satisfied and accepting justice, what do Democrats do? What are they doing now? Doubling and tripling down every day in every way. The impeachment of Trump after the Mueller debacle, citing Trump as bribing President Zelensky of the Ukraine. But Trump produced the recorded phone call, and it was not what Schiff said was in it. It was a perfect call. So you'd think they'd stop there. No. After Trump left office, they impeached him again. Let me say that again. After Trump left office, they impeached him again. And now they have DAs all over the country trying to convict him and his kids of something. Anything. sort of makes one wonder if this activity isn't a cover-up for the 6-year coup that probably could indict hundreds of Dems, intel officers, mainstream media that have conspired to accomplish what one old, productive prosecutor, Durham, has them all shaking in their booties. Tick-tock, Dems. Your time is running out. Hi there, my name is Dave Weinbaum. I'm your radio talk show host today, and I'm with some really good people, and my wife, and, she's a good person too. Wait a minute, did I just insult her? I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, honey. No, I meant to put you right in there with all the good people.
No, you're sorry. I get it.
You look really nice today. Ooh.
Thank you.
She dresses up for the show, and she tries to get me to.
I have to showcase my new Trump.
Oh my goodness!
That are,
well, get near the camera. Stand right. You got to stand right in front of it because I can't see it.
I don't know.
Here, let me yank one out.
No.
Okay. Oh, darn.
We'll just take it.
They're cute. Take my word for it. They're cute little Trump
which are
earrings.
Gifts from the grandsons. Very thoughtful. As
thoughtful.
was the hat that you're wearing.
And the hat I'm wearing. Look at this.
Trump 2024. They can't see that side. So
wait. Can you see this?
We are all decked out in Trump gear today.
Oh, Dr. Fauci, I'm catching up on you. And our producers. Our junior producer right there is Rick Henderson with the tie, always well dressed, and the MAGA hat. And the junior producer, who is, he's the senior producer, but it's all confusing because he's much younger than the.
Way younger.
Yeah.
Seems like every week I get a little bit younger than Rick. I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know how it works either, but it's incredible how old Rick is.
Thank you.
Rick is competing with the 253-year-old man, JJ, who will be on the show shortly. We've got a great show for you, and this is JP Maxwell.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, and if you want to call the show, 573-578-2700 to Save America. Yeah, we need it. We need it. We're in a crazy time right now. It's so obviously terrible. Even the Democrats don't like Biden. I mean, it's hard for them to, I got to give them some credit because I had big arguments on Twitter when this Durham thing came out because I thought, it's about time. Oh, they were all crazed. They were doubling and tripling down. Not the mainstream media, mind you. These Twitter nuts who are, left of who knows what. But they left us Stalin, for goodness sakes. I mean, man, they were after me like white on rice, calling me a liar and a traitor and all sorts of stuff.
And yet, can they tell you one good thing that Biden's done?
Yeah, they can point to a bunch of things. See, they gave him credit for unemployment. Going down.
Oh,
yeah.
Wasn't that happening before he was inaugurated?
Didn't they ever Didn't they ever? Well, it did, but. Yeah, sure, some people are going back to work, but I can tell you right now it's almost impossible for business people to find workers because the government has given them this money to stay at home.
Well, and what happens is it's not like Biden created new jobs. They just put people in the jobs that people had to leave because of vaccine mandate and other stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, we're finding out all the stupid stuff that's happening with what we thought was the right thing to do with, locking people up. Didn't work. Masking didn't work. And now we're trying to weasel our way out of this. But anyways, let me tell you who I got, and I think we've got the rabbi there, and we're going to be talking to him very shortly. We got the rabbi, and let's see who else we got. We got J.J. Bradshaw coming up, Joe Alexander, Elad Hakim, and Laura Loomer, who didn't show last time. She got caught up in a situation with a bunch of lawyers, and that's never a good thing to happen there. One way or another, you're going to get stuck. So let's get the rabbi his song so he doesn't cry like a little baby. Hit it.
Yeah, 1 second, Dave. You were talking to another rabbi? Sounds like you're cheating on me.
No, actually, I'm cheating with you on him because he was the first rabbi. Listen to this. I got rabbis fighting over me. This is kind of weird. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife is grabbing stuff while I'm trying to introduce the rabbi.
I'm helping.
How is that helping?
It's helping.
You don't reach in front of me and start grabbing stuff. I'm trying to figure out what the hell you're doing.
Trying to distract you.
I never know what you're going to grab, quite frankly.
Oh, my
Anyways,
gosh.
Israeli rabbi dictates policy to the people in the Knesset and others. He bakes bread. He travels the world uniting Christians, Jews, and Muslims. He's the scoop master of the Middle East and the official rabbi of Missouri and the Dave Weinbaum Show. Please welcome, all the way from Efrat, Israel, Rabbi Moshe Rothchild. Hi, you like your new introduction?
Yeah.
Okay.
It never gets old.
All right, well, yeah, as we're getting old. Anyways, Iran is building now a new unbombable nuke plant. Does that really matter? I mean, like, is this really a news story?
Well, it's part of the bigger story of the deal that Trump pulled out of in 2018, which of course was a terrible deal, and it was a great move that he pulled out. And it seems to me that the U.S. is very desperate to get something done, and almost like Biden's just saying, please, 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 pretty please, with a cherry on top. And Iran is negotiating, I have to say, very, very well. And they're gonna be left with a great deal. No sanctions. That's my prediction. There'll be no sanctions, and they'll have nuclear breakout capability in a year. And they're building, as you said, an underground facility that will be so deep and fortified that, it won't make a difference. No one's going to be able to bomb it. And they are just outfoxing, Biden and his negotiating team and Blinken. And they're just, it's in my opinion.
I think what you're saying right there is an insult to foxes. I mean, outfoxing him? Give me a break.
Put nuclear capabilities in the hand of jihadis, and it's not going to remain just in Iran. It's going to,
of course,
it's going to. It's
well. Here's the irony of this: he is, yelling like crazy against the Russians. Turn down your computer, will you? I know you got your computer. Are you? Who's playing this? Is that Lisa?
No. That's from the Rabbi's Inc., so he can hear you talk and then respond. So it's a slight delay. That's why.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, Rabbi. It was your fault.
Apologize to all of us.
I turned it down a bit. So
okay, thanks. Here's the irony of this is that Biden is so much anti-Ukraine now and anti-Russia. Not anti-Ukraine, but he's trying to pretend like he cares about the Ukraine. And he's fighting Russia and saying nasty things to Putin, and yet he's cooperating with Putin on the Iran deal.
Right. Well, I'll tell you something, Dave. There's nothing more that Biden wants than for Russia to invade the Ukraine. It'll be the greatest distraction from the inflation, from all the internal U.S. problems that Biden is juggling, that he is responsible for, and the greatest distraction will be people dying in Russia and the Ukraine, and the news cycle focused somewhere else besides putting a spotlight on him and his administration. Believe me, he is dying for Russia to invade. That he'll be very pleased if Russia invades Ukraine.
Yeah, but then it gets serious if in fact that we do have troops over there, and it's not allegedly they're in Poland and other places. I think Romania and a few others, but we do have troops over there, and if Americans start to die, and then they have a big war like a Vietnam or a Iraqi war, that would be horrible. Wouldn't it?
It would be terrible. I don't see him committing troops. They're more like sort of like a peacekeeping force. When the going gets tough, they're not going to get engaged. But I think he's looking for a distraction. I think he needs a distraction.
So I understand that your airport restrictions in Israel have been removed early. Is that correct?
Well, no, they're talking about removing them on March 1st. They haven't yet officially approved it, but it's been in the news the last couple of days.
Yeah,
and the way it seems to work here is that these leaks are kind of like a trial balloon to see how the population responds, and then they vote on it. So I'm guessing this week they're going to vote to remove most restrictions, including allowing the unvaccinated into Israel.
Yeah.
As of, I believe, March 1st, or certainly the beginning of March, which would be a great thing.
What are they going to do? They're going to stop the vaccinations?
No, they're going to allow people in the country who have not been vaccinated. You'll still have to test for COVID, but you won't need to show a vaccination card before you board the plane.
So what vaccination are you on? Are you on like 5 or 6 or what?
No, if you hit 10, you get a free pizza.
I would think.
Yeah.
I would think. Jeez.
Get your card punched.
Yeah. I mean, what happens after you use up both arms? Where do they stick you?
That's why you got 2 cheeks.
Yeah, there you go. All right, that's a pretty good. I could be your straight man any day. Anyways, there's new evidence of Jewish temple treasures that are held by the Vatican. Do you know what that is? And could you describe a little bit about what that's about?
Yeah, there is a report recently here in Israel. Now, of course, the guy who's reporting is trying to sell his book, but he sort of traces the long history of the temple items that went missing after the temple was destroyed in the year 70, close to 2,000 years ago. And he provides, I have to say, very compelling evidence that the Vatican is holding on to Jewish property from the temple that was taken by the Romans. And until now, for the last, 20, 30 years of my life where I was interested in this, it was back and forth, but his evidence is very, very compelling. I would love Israel to do what they did with the Iranians when they went in and Netanyahu stole all the nuclear plans. I would love to see them some sort of covert operation going down into the catacombs of the Vatican and walking out with the temple treasures, unnoticed. That would be kind of cool.
We need a movie. What's the name of the movie venue?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, we need another Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's exactly
the
what I'm thinking.
The Raiders of the Lost Jewish Treasures. What do you think?
I have a perfect name. How about Indiana Jones and the Temple Beth Shalom? I think that'd be perfect.
Yeah, okay. That's pretty darn good right there. I think that's. Yeah. Now there's a scoop for you. Hollywood, are you listening? All right. Yeah. You need a couple of old putzes to help you?
You need to get a hold of Harrison Ford. See if he'll come back for another one.
I think he'd like that.
He's Jewish, Harrison Ford.
You're kidding. No, get out of here.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. All right. Sudanese leader praises Israeli ties on national TV. It's a big deal. Why is this a big deal?
Well, they're of course part of the Abraham Accords, and to publicly, this week had some crazy events like that in Sudan. The leader publicly, we had in Bahrain, they played the Israeli national anthem publicly. Like we've spoken about this, David. The U.S. administration is missing an opportunity. Trump opened up a door. And Jared Kushner was nominated, I think, this week for Nobel Peace Prize.
You just said the magic words. Trump opened up a door. Yeah. There you go. Yes. That's it. No, we're not doing anything he did.
They redirected the whole pattern here in the Middle East, and they really were onto something incredibly positive. And of course, the administration today is trying to really put that to a back burner and ignore it. But these things, like you're talking about Sudan, Bahrain, unbelievable what's going on.
Yeah, are there any more on the cusp?
I haven't heard anything, but I do know, even with the nuclear negotiations with Iran, all the Gulf states and Saudi Arabia, they're all on the same side as Israel. They're opposing any re-entry into a deal. And Israel,
I'm sure it's very interesting how that's working. It seems like the one group that's trying to dominate is the Iranians, and all the rest of the Arab countries are aligning with Israel. Who knew that would happen?
Yeah, they used to align with Israel sometimes, but very secretly. They said,
Yes.
Israel was like the mistress. They didn't talk about her. But now we're like the wife.
Oh my God! Really? So you get to nag him? Oh,
I guess.
Sorry, honey. I'm sorry. No, she wasn't listening. She didn't do that. No, stop!
Oh,
Can't
hello.
do that.
Where'd that come from?
Does Yonit do that to you? I don't. Is that a Jewish thing or what? This is a German woman, and she is hitting me in the back with a big old whip. Anyways, 14 Dutch universities suspending cooperation from a radical pro-Palestinian group from questioning staff members about their Jewish and Israeli organizations that they might be members of. Does this sound like a Nazi thing or what?
Yeah, to me, it sounds that's exactly what it sounds like, and we're talking about organizations like very legitimate, like the Simon Wiesenthal Center, connections to very legitimate above board Jewish organization. We're not talking about some radical terrorist organizations, but this is Nazi Germany all over again. And and Europe hasn't learned the lessons of the past and trying to hunt down and categorize where are the Jews, who are the sympathizers with the Jews. It's hard to believe that 70, 75 years later and we're in the same boat still.
Yeah, I understand that you had a really a really famous United States leader visit Israel. Were you Nancy Pelosi's tour guide?
I was not, but I have to be honest with you, Dave, that, there was a lot of coverage here. She did say some amazing things, but that doesn't surprise me. What did surprise me is that I saw in the paper here reported, it says little known that Pelosi's late father, who was a congressman, he was dedicated to rescuing Jews from Nazi Europe and to helping create the Jewish state. And he ended up breaking ranks with Roosevelt on this. Yeah. So, it's one thing she's going to get up and say, Israel's the greatest political creation in the 20th century. But, okay, she's got to say that. She's standing in Israel. But the fact that her father I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Debt of gratitude. That's pretty amazing,
Yeah,
I have to say.
Yeah. And now she's going to go back with the squad and condone Jew hating while she's in office still, and is too weak to do anything about it.
Yeah, she says the right things. She got it, and she goes back.
Yeah, she said the right thing in Israel, and she's not going to say that. She's not going to say that in front of the squad. I guarantee it to you. Yeah. Although they probably are calling her right now and saying, "What's the matter with you? Don't you know what side you're on?"
They're telling her not to come back. To stay here.
No, you got that. So I understand you're coming to the United States.
I am. I'm actually flying on Sunday. Please God, and I'll be in the States for about 2 weeks. I'll be in the neck of the woods next week. I'm not going to make it to Pastor Pat because she's got something on that day, but I'm still going to come to your area. Okay. So
we're on for when? Next Sunday? Are you coming? Or
yeah, I'm arriving. I think next Sunday.
Good. All right. Let's do that because I got another rabbi I got to see in St. Louis on Saturday night. So.
Oh my gosh, you're overloaded with rabbis, Dave.
I need a lot of redemption.
It's overloaded, all right.
I'm overloaded. Hey, overloaded. All right. Yeah. Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and contribute?
Yes, they can go to our website, IsraelAlliance.org, IsraelAlliance.org, or our Facebook page, Facebook.com/Israel Alliance.
Rabbi, did you hear about the Proud bookcase?
The Proud bookcase?
Yeah. Proud bookcase.
Nope.
Yeah, it had shelf esteem. Ladies and gentlemen, Rabbi Moshe Rothchild. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
My 19-year-old son just came back. They did a 3-day hike.
Ew.
Hardly any food. They slept in tents every single night. They slept outside in tents. And I told him that trip must have been very intense.
You know, something tells me you got that from me because I have always said, where do psychiatrists camp? Intense.
Well,
Crickets.
I don't remember that one.
Crickets.
No, that's not crickets. That's a good one. I think you secretly took it. It's like the one. Let's see. What do you call an uprising in northern China?
Egg foo young?
No, Mongolian beef. All right, we're going to end it there because finally went from crickets to laughter. Thank you, Rabbi. Shabbat shalom, my friend.
Guys.
Safe travels. We'll
Shabbat
see you in
shalom.
about a week or so. All right, take care.
Okay.
Hi to you and eating the kids.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Well, there he is. And we have JJ commenting on the Rabbi. Let's see. Terrible interview with the... Oh, no. I'm sorry. I misread. Great interview with Rabbi Moshe. Thank you, JJ. He's up next. And before we get him on, we got some time, right? About 14 minutes. Why don't we do a commercial right here, and we'll be right back. Don't forget to spend your money. Spend your money at my sponsors, and I'm pretty sure that because of people coming in to buy stuff, including me, that Kent Jewelers did pretty good over Valentine's Day. Hit it.
Honey, what are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
It looks like you're filling up a swimming pool.
Yep, I'm filling up a swimming pool.
In our living room?
How else am I going to watch the game and stay cool?
If your AC is on the fritz, call Hartley's Climate Control. Hartley's is the area's best in HVAC repairs, installs, and maintenance. Knowledgeable, honest, and dependable. Serving Rolla and the surrounding areas for commercial or residential needs. Hartley's Climate Control. Community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Kent's Jewelry does custom engravings for almost anything. Awards, signs, guns, swords, mugs, yetis, and knives. Kent is the premier custom jeweler in mid-Missouri. We have a great staff, the technology, and equipment to create what you dream for, jewelry and engraving. Kent's Jewelry, 907 North Pine, downtown Rolla, 573-364-1030. That's 573-364-1030. Locally owned.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is 2 words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping, too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate. At your locally owned Price Chopper, our standards are high because we know yours are. See for yourself what an incredible fresh selection of grocery items we have in store. Talk to our expert meat associates about what you're looking for. They're happy to meet any special requests like custom cuts, or see our expert produce associates on how to pick out the best fruits and vegetables. Quality in the deli means fresh, full flavor, and always delicious. If you're craving fresh baked goodness, we have that too. You can expect the best selection and the best value while interacting with our friendly and knowledgeable employees. You can find what you're looking for fast and easily at the best prices at Price Chopper. Fresh savings every day.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassles. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Maybe it's for a kitchen you've always wanted. Maybe it's just to have a little extra room. Whatever the reason you're considering a new home loan, it's good to know that Town & Country Bank will guide you in the right direction. Our experienced local lenders are here to help you with a new home construction, remodeling projects, and fixed and adjustable rate home loans. You can even start the process online by clicking Online Mortgage Center at tcbanks.com. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi there, we're back, and we're raring to go here. We've got lots of stuff we're going to be talking about this morning. One of them is this amazing Durham discovery. It has struck a big hole in the Democrats. Like, they don't know what to do. The media doesn't know what to do. The media has been harping over this Russian hoax and the January 6th conspiracy, the insurrection that never took place. They're all over this, and all of a sudden they went into silence. They don't know what to do. But I was on Twitter and I was arguing the hell out of stuff. I had people blocking me and calling me a liar and all sorts of nasty stuff. A traitor. I'm the traitor, right? And they're talking about 1/6 like this was an Ashley Babbitt, the one person that they were talking about all the cops that were killed that day. I don't know of one of them. One guy died of a couple days later of what they said was natural causes. And the only person that really died that day because of the insurrection was one Ashley Babbitt, a United States Air Force veteran who was unarmed. Okay? We have movies of her. We got, must have been smuggled out, of her trying to stop any violence, of actually laughing it up with several of the cops, the Capitol cops, 5 minutes before she was murdered by one, what's his name? Michael
Leroy Bird.
Leroy Bird, right. Yes, I think it was... Right, Michael Leroy Bird.
The surveillance footage is very clear that she is trying to stop people from destructing the Capitol.
Yeah, so
very clear.
So it's all nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's a political thing. It's what Hitler did at the Reichstag in February of 1933. He used it as a political thing. One guy went in and set a fire, and they decided, we'll just blame the communists, and that's what they did. And all the communists came to this country and became Democrats. I think there's actually some truth in that. They went to all the universities. They were teachers, they were professors. And all over the place they started developing other little communists, and look what we have now. Oy vey. All right, Patricia Oden Maxwell, the official pastor to the Dave Weinbaum Show, sounding good, team, and didn't know about Rabbi's date for coming to Rolla in time to have him on Sunday, but I could have him one evening of the week. I have an email out to him to see if he can do that. Sure want to have him at our church if we can work it out with him. So that's great. I don't know of any competing rabbis in the area that are trying to get into your church. In fact, this is really unusual. Did I think that I would be close to any rabbi or any Christians close enough to go to their church when I was younger? No. Did I think I was going to be married to a beautiful German woman? No. And I am.
Oh, thank you, dear.
Did I recover some?
Is that from Valentine's Day?
Did I get some points or what?
You may not get whipped as much now, at least.
Oh, yeah.
Just
I'm always hoping.
Just to level the field here, for Valentine's Day, Dave went golfing, and that was pretty much the whole day.
And I was nicer to you after that because you know why? I needed to do that. I needed. It's my only exercise, and I'm out there. It was cold, mind you. It was
I
not.
know.
It was cold, but you know what? It was. The sun was out,
and you were fine.
And I was playing good.
Didn't mess with a card or any of that stuff.
Yeah, and
no
I mean,
flowers, no nothing.
I was really. I'm trying to get more honest now. I used to go out and practice all the time, and I hit like 5 shots till I got it right. And then when you play with other guys, well, you're going to screw up. So, because you don't have the pressure. You have the pressure. Let's put it that way.
See how he takes
that
the
you
focus
wouldn't
off
normally
the romance.
have.
You're taking the focus off the romance issue for Valentine's Day.
Honey, I can't do that. I can't do a whole. You know me. I can't do a whole show on romance.
We're talking one day of the year.
What do you want to do? A soap opera here? I don't think the folks would like that. They're not on here to listen to me. Oh, darling. Oh, you look so beautiful today. I don't think they're out there to do that. Are you? No. All right. So I'm answering for the crowd.
They want to hear about golf. Yeah.
Well, golf. Come on, man. It's the whole thing.
Golf and you're cheating.
Golf is the whole thing. All right. And it's fun, and it's out there. You can go play with other people. You can play by yourself. You can cheat as much as they allow you to cheat, because they're cheating too. I mean, yeah, you can. All right, yeah. Can you set your ball up? Yeah. You want to put it at a club length? Well, I got a big club, so you put it out there about 20 feet over. Okay, away from all the hazards. Some play like that. If those are the rules they're establishing. There's nothing wrong with it, is there?
I forgot that name of that golfer, a week or two ago that had to make that shot over that canyon, and he didn't realize how deep it was.
Oh, my God.
That aerial view was like...
Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, Jordan Spieth, yep.
That was insane.
That was absolutely insane. How could they have that like there? I've heard they've lost golf carts over that cliff. I don't know if anybody was in them, but that's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I don't think you're coming back from that one.
No, you can't. You cannot. You have to set up a barrier that these guys don't have the option. You just, put it as out of bounds, and you give them a
take a penalty
extra
shot.
stroke for
penalty
it.
stroke.
Take a penalty shot.
And and what do you want? Did you want Jordan Spieth to go over that cliff?
He's one of the best golfers in the world. You don't want to lose him to that.
And he was in first place yesterday after the. I'm kind of a fan of his. I don't know why I'm a fan. I just. I don't know. It's kind of weird because he doesn't appeal to me that much. But you know what? He is so brilliant in his play. When he's on, he's like the best in the world, and he's not a big, strong guy or anything like that.
So from what I understand, he could have taken a penalty stroke and moved the ball back, and instead he shot it just right from there. But if he had slipped even a little bit on his follow-through, he's gone.
He'd be dead, yeah. All right, let's do one more bit, and I see a daunting, handsome old face on my board there, but let's do one little thing here. Let's do the cop, because I think JJ needs to wake up here. I think he needs to, I understand he's a speeder. Hit it.
And actually, I can go ahead and share this.
Yeah, okay.
That way everybody can actually see it here. Let me make sure I've got the right file up here.
You just had your thing on there.
Yep, here we go.
There you go.
Recording me makes you feel safer. That's fine. I support you in doing that. But here's what's going to happen next. You're going to do me a favor, and I'm going to do you a favor so we can both go on about our day.
What favor can I do for you?
You're going to slow it down when passing through here. We got a lot of traffic. I'm going to rip that Biden-Harris bumper sticker off the back of your car so people don't think you're an idiot.
There you go. JJ's laughing his ass off over there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to play this gentleman's song, and why don't you go ahead and hit that?
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday.
You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your stuff all over the place, singing, we will rock you. We will rock you. I'm conducting this, and he's not singing. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Consider yourself rocked.
Huh? Are you
consider yourself rocked?
I am rocked. I'm rocked, and I'm rocked also because I've got you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got with us Every week you do that. You always got the alarm on.
Got to do it, Dave.
Why? You're here.
He's never late, though. So
well, that's true. You've never been late before. You're always on time. You never forget. That's why you're 253 years old.
I think I deserve a raise. $0 plus another zero.
Yeah, you've got it. I'll give you as many zeros as you want.
No,
I got a couple of kids I might want to give you too. Anyways,
no, you keep them.
I figured, ladies and gentlemen, this man has so much wisdom, and he's 253 years old. It's he's got all this wisdom and all this material that he's been doing all these years, all the memories of the time he used to go to the Ye Old Tavern in Virginia with George Washington and Ben Franklin and Thomas Jefferson and pick up pioneer women. And, we don't talk about that because his, current wife could be jealous. Anyways, please welcome all the way from Rolla, Missouri, a man who has to put all this knowledge under a tinfoil hat, John Jeffrey Bradshaw. Yeah.
Thank you, Dave.
Rick just waved at you. He used all his fingers. I watched him.
I appreciate that, Dave.
Yes. Oh, I'm watching out for you, JJ. So what's stuck in your craw today?
Well, I got a couple of things. You mentioned Ukraine, and the rabbi mentioned it briefly as well. Let's do a quick update on that. Brother Biden says that it's likely that invasion is imminent, and he may be right. Let's look at what the Russians are doing. False flag operation going on over there. Putin says, yeah, we're withdrawing our troops, but there's no satellite evidence of any of that happening. They're still shooting artillery, still shooting missiles. They claim that's a military exercise. Well, you don't do a military exercise right on the border of a democratic country. That's the beginning of an invasion. There is a computer business going on over there where the Russians appear to be conducting some cyber warfare against the Ukrainians. Now, this happens all the time. The Chinese and Russians are playing these games continuously. There has been a little uptick in that sort of thing. Now, what does that do? Well, let's say that you conduct cyber warfare against the Ukraine. You mess up their electrical grid. You mess up their communications. You mess up their water systems. All of these things are controlled by computer anymore. And the Russians and Chinese are pretty good about hacking into those things. So what do? Well, you create some chaos amongst the civilian population to soften them up for an invasion. This looks to me like a prelude to war. Now, okay, our executive branch, our commander-in-chief, our idiot-in-chief, has signaled what we intend to do. You never do that to your enemies. Never. Yeah, that's like your generals saying, yeah, we're going to invade tomorrow afternoon. You don't do that. This is a civilian in charge of the military that doesn't have a clue. And he is being advised by people that don't have a clue. So, okay, we're going to stick some troops over in Poland and some other places. If you recall, before Johnson escalated the Vietnam War, we had advisors in Vietnam, a whole bunch of them.
Right.
And these were supposedly non-combatants.
Sure.
Well, after a few thousand non-combatants end up slaughtered by the enemy, you give them guns and you tell them to shoot back.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what Johnson has done, as it did in Vietnam. The same thing is being repeated right here. We're sending some of our special forces guys over there to bordering countries and saying, you need to help train the Ukrainians. You need to help them develop some tactics. Well, the Ukrainian army is a relatively experienced army. These are not a bunch of coolie hat clowns that are running around in the jungle. They've been doing this a long time. So do we really need to be advising them? Probably not. We're sending those troops over there for a completely different reason. The point is, these are supposed to be non-combatants. Well, as soon as that border is breached, they become combatants. The eastern.
Why do they become combatants if they're not in that country? Now, your point is I believe that there probably are some of our troops in Ukraine already.
There's no doubt about
Now,
that, and
are
I'm sure
we-
they're
why-
understanding orders that
we
as soon
know-
as the first shot is fired, they're going to move in.
Your point is excellent on the Vietnam issue, is how that got started, and I think it was intended to be started, and I think this is looking the same way, and I think they need the war. They need this war. First of all, you wonder, why did they leave all those billions of dollars of equipment in Afghanistan? Who does that benefit? Who replaces that equipment?
Pretty good question, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, we got a big order for you over here. Whoever makes this equipment, Boeing or whoever, we got some great. We need more bombs. Okay, so you've got a whole slew of our engineers in these arms plants, these tank plants, these jet plants, fighter jets, that are going to get a huge amount of money, aren't there?
Yeah, they call it the military-industrial complex, if you recall your history.
There you go. So that's what's happening. That could be what's happening here.
Oh, it's much more insidious than that, Dave. You know, we've got an executive branch that is very much anti-gun, very much against having guns in civilian hands. If you start a dirty little war and you start demanding greater and greater contracts for ammunition, you know who gets the ammunition first? The military.
Sure.
You know what gets left? A few pieces to be sold to the civilians. So if you're looking for gun control, all you do is dry up the ammunition supply, and a nasty little war will take care of that very effectively and give deniability to the executive branch. This is insidious, and it's an old boys network. All these clowns know each other's clowns. Doesn't matter Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, they're all in it for the money and the power. So the old boy system is very much alive here, and we're seeing it demonstrated once again like they did in Vietnam, more or less like they did in Korea. We use the same silly tactics, and the sheep among us buy that hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, and then what happens? Thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of Americans get killed. Young men, young women get killed over the, you call it the military industry deal, where they're all making money.
Yeah, military industrial complex.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I understand, what do we do? What do we do if for example, you mentioned the computer control of our electric grid, of our sanitary devices and all that stuff? What do we do if they do it to us here on the mainland while they're invading in Ukraine?
They do it to us all the time as it is. They're poking around in our
I know, but what if they find
daily.
a way to do it on a mass situation?
Well, you can bet they're looking for that.
Yeah, well, if they are, and we don't have a president or a administration smart enough to at least, and they may even be wanting it. They may want us to go to war there to save their own asses, because now, guess what? Guess what's happening in Canada? They have martial law there. They have martial law. You don't think the Biden administration is looking up to Canada? They haven't ended the mandates yet. They haven't ended the mask mandates yet, or the shot mandates. They could just as easily do what Canada's doing right now.
I think they'd have a little problem doing that here, Dave. The Canadians have been headed towards socialist system for a couple of decades now, so they're a little more used to that. Folks like us, like you and me, patriots, are not going to stand for that crap. Not going to happen.
What are you talking about? We've stood for it for 2 years now. The mandates.
We have, in a way, but how close are we to the end of standing for that, Dave?
I think we're pretty damn close.
The fuse is lit.
Yeah.
The question is, how close to the dynamite is the fuse?
Okay, all right, I get it, but they've shown that they still want to do it to our children with no science. This is not about science anymore. This is about control. Okay?
Did you read that the CDC would like to have us take an annual booster shot?
Of course, yeah. And there's a report coming out of Project Veritas where he got into one of the FDA guys' control. He took him to lunch or something like that, but he had lunch with this guy who's on top of the FDA, who was in charge of that particular thing, and he admitted there's no science. He's talking about the bucks. He's talking about billions of dollars going to government and going back to the drug makers. That's what he's talking about.
This has been politics and they want power for years.
And they want to inject little children, babies, okay, once a year.
I have nothing to say about that, Dave.
Well, I do. It's called child abuse.
Well, of course, and you're entitled to your opinion. The fact is that government is suggesting that we take an annual shot, not unlike the flu, except the flu shot is not experimental. It's been around for a very long time. This shot is completely foreign, completely manufactured.
Yeah, and
it's a standalone. And I have some question about its efficacy, and I have some question about its long-term effects.
Well, look, I know you've taken it and stuff, and a lot of people have, and I hope to God that things come out okay. But if you look at the VAERS report, which is really
damning,
it's damning, but it's also minuscule as to what the real numbers are. When you put a closing date of your last shot, and then 14 days later, you can't do anything in those 14 days later about people who are dying or having these adverse reactions to the vaccine, then you know it's a fraud. But it's a fraud in a way that it's written so that it actually will minimize what's going on. Well, when you look at the numbers of these things, and this is compared to all the different reports from 31 years ago, we have almost tripled the amount of deaths from all those 30 years in our last 2 years. Almost tripled it. And so so that's a huge thing to be looking at with an experimental drug. These other drugs were done the right way. And even with that, you still have deaths. You still have flu deaths.
Of course you do.
Influenza, you have deaths of that. So we're going to have to deal with this.
Well, and we are dealing with it.
Right.
Those of us who are resisting government forcing us to do things, we may be resisting it quietly at the moment, but that won't last forever. At some point, you tell the government, no, you're not going to do this. If you intend to continue to do this, bad things will happen to you.
Yeah.
I have one last closing shot.
Please
Dave.
do.
As you know, I am a Second Amendment proponent.
Yes.
I believe that the First Amendment exists only because of the Second. If you recall, in 2012, an insane kid named Adam Lanza went to Sandy Hook Elementary and opened fire. As a result of that, 12 families have sued. They started suing for billions. They finally settled out of court, $73 million to the 12 families of Sandy Hook victims. And this was paid from the insurance company that insured Remington Arms, which is the manufacturer of the AR-15 that was used in that debacle. And here's the hook on that. There is a federal law that's called the Protection of Commerce or of Lawful Commerce Act, which protects gun makers from the sorts of lawsuits that the Sandy Hook families have filed. In essence, it says we're not responsible for what people do with the things that we manufacture. That's an individual thing. Adam Lanza was an insane person. It wouldn't have mattered if he picked up an AR-15, a 1911 gun, or a pocket knife. He would have done the same.
He could have drove his car through the building.
Indeed. So we have this conflict. You've got a federal law, which is the Protection of Lawful Commerce Act, which at the time it was passed was lauded by the gun manufacturers as a great thing. It gave them some immunity. Now you have a state court that says, no, you're still liable. This thing was settled out of court. I think had it gone to trial, Remington Arms probably would have won it on the facts. But the insurance company got tired of paying the lawyers, and finally $73 million gets spit out. Well, why is this important? Well, it sets a precedent.
What was it, $73 million? Is that what they got?
$73 million divided amongst 12 families.
Okay.
They started initially their lawsuit was billions, and finally got worked down. But this was 2012. Okay, we're talking 9 years, 10 years ago. It takes that long to grind these things through the courts. But my point is this: the opposition to firearms has managed to whittle a chink out of the armor of the firearms manufacturers. They've won. They won a small victory.
Yeah.
And since this was settled out of court, there is no appeal. So they have started something here. And what a damn shame it is, because the fact is that gun was inert until Adam Lanza picked it up and decided to kill people with it. All I had to say about that, it's a sad day for the Second Amendment that a state court has managed to, in essence, overturn a federal law that was a pretty darn good law. We'll see what happens to that, but you can bet further lawsuits are going to be coming from the other elementary and high school debacles.
That is the left's mantra, is to get rid of our guns so they can dominate us. I mean, what other reason would they have? Okay, it doesn't. They're going to have guns.
That's it.
You know how easy is it for in black neighborhoods for people there to get guns, good or bad? It's easy, and they don't report them. My God, of course not. Out of the back of so you know car. It's all BS. So what you have to look back. What is this about? It's about the ability to dominate somebody else with guns. You got the guns and he don't. Okay, that's what's happening in Cuba right now. That's what happens in Russia, in all these communist countries.
This is the way the left operates, Dave. They refuse to tackle the problem, which is the criminal.
Yeah. They
refuse to tackle the problem, which is the folks they've let out of the asylums that are running the streets. They refuse to tackle anything that might trample someone's civil rights. So what do? They go after the inorganic. They go after the hardware. If Adam Lanza didn't have this gun, he couldn't have committed that crime.
Right.
The point is, though, Adam Lanza could have bought that gun out of the back of Guido's car for about $500, and there would be no record of it at all.
Absolutely,
so
and that's the way it is.
The same? Hell, yes, it's the same.
I mean, look at Chicago. The Illinois gun laws are some of the toughest in the country, and yet look at all these gun deaths they have in the neighborhood. And I can guarantee you, none of these guns are legit, and there's no way to make them legit. Anyways, my friend, thank you so much for a great interview. I very much enjoyed this interview because there was more interaction between us, and maybe I can be awake enough to do that in the following weeks.
It is a Friday conversation, Dave.
It is, and thank you so much for being the soon-to-be back again opening act of the Dave Weinbaum Show, J.J. Bradshaw.
God bless you, Dave.
God bless you. Yes, applause. Okay, we have a few notes here on at least one. Amy, howdy, Shell. Hi, Amy. How you doing? I agree.
Hi, Amy.
Must you interrupt?
Yes.
I agree. Sad day for the Second Amendment. By the way, Amy and my little wifey here, the law, Lisa Ann Weinbaum, they're running the Merrimack Republican organization.
Women.
Merrimack
Republican women.
So you discriminate against us men?
No, men such as yourself can be associate members, which you are.
So you want us to have men's clubs like this? Women not allowed? It doesn't seem right to me.
You can be allowed as an associate member. Matter of fact, you paid your dues. You're a
member.
member.
I have to dress like in a skirt or?
You paid your dues. You're a member.
I paid my dues?
Yes, you did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And please don't wear a skirt. You're welcome to come to our meetings, but no skirt for you.
What's wrong with that? I got good legs. Anyways.
I heard a comedian one time that said that he does puppets. He's a ventriloquist, and the puppet's talking. He goes, I used to chase skirts everywhere until I went to Scotland, and boy, was I surprised.
Hey, give yourself some applause. That wasn't bad right there.
Anyway, one more comment. We are a new club, and we're in the in Merrimack counties, Crawford.
Well, how do you get?
We have a Facebook page. Merrimack Republican Women. Please feel free to message us or reach out to me. I'm also on Facebook.
How do you spell Merrimack? Quick.
Meramec.
Okay.
Ta-da.
Merrimack. All right, Amy again. Hi, Dave and Lisa. Hi, Amy. How you doing?
So,
all right, she's a nice person. I like her.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she serves on the board. She's the secretary of the Pregnancy Resource Center. Yep. You know, Joel Dalton and Jane Dalton, all them nice people.
I ran into Joe actually right after the show last week, and I was glad to hear that his.
Did you hear him?
No, I was talking about his granddaughter after everything happened with that car accident. I'm glad to hear she's doing a lot better.
They're doing fine now. They had a car accident and
banged up a little.
Thank God, nothing happened. So there were just minor injuries, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And by the way, we also I can't forget to, have this special guest.
Our other special guest, yeah.
So what do you think of the mask thing, Dr. Fauci? Huh? What? I can't hear you. Yes, no, maybe, what, who, how, what? No, don't you understand? Don't you understand that it is child abuse to make these kids wear masks when the science doesn't prove it? I am the science. I am the science. Oh, cut it out.
Wait, he just said he's the science?
Yeah,
I have a rebuttal.
Science. What?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Give yourself some applause. That was pretty good. All right, it's making Rick nervous now. He's sitting there thinking, gee, I got to come up with something now, don't I? Don't worry, you're fine.
Yeah, I wonder what he thinks of Tierra del Fuego. That's
who?
All.
Who thinks about it?
Fauci.
Oh, he's got a place there, right? Yeah. He owns the country or something.
Yeah, that's his home.
Oh, okay. All right, so right now let's do another little bit, and we got some clips we want to run. This is really good stuff. This is mostly about Durham, but it's also about Dems going crazy about this end of democracy. They are crazed people, and Tucker Carlson compares them to little, school kids where everything is a tragedy. You're 4 minutes late, it's the end of the world. It's my hair isn't right. Oh my God, I can't go out today. That kind of, this is teenager and even below teenager level. And that's what these Democrats do. Our democracy is gone. Okay, so we're gonna do that, but before that, let's do the pregnancy pain one.
Again, I'm going to share this one so that everybody can actually see this as well, because this is pretty funny. So everybody enjoy this one.
Take this pill, and the pain of childbirth will be transferred to the father. I don't feel anything.
What did you just say about me?
I said, you were sounding like an NPR announcer there for a moment.
Really?
Yes.
What did I say?
He was crying like a baby.
Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Well, I can do that. I'll not be an NPR person. Amy again. Amy, howdy show. Agree 100%. It is child abuse, and she's a nurse. Unmask the kids. That's Amy Howdy Show. And you know what? I've been telling my people, my people are still wearing masks in my store because McDonald's hasn't said anything. I think it's time we take the damn masks off. And
I agree.
I think we ought to film my crews out there, and I bet you all of them will be shouting and screaming just like those little kids did in the New York Post. We got to get that one and play it on the show where the little kids are. We don't.
Yeah, I could find that for next week's show.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Yeah. Because I mean, to them it's like they had just something major had happened in their life, like a big birthday or something.
Yeah.
I mean, they were crying. They were so happy. No more masks. It was crazy.
All right. Well, let's play. Let's see. We did clip one. Let's go. Let's go 2 and 3. Okay.
A court filing alleges multiple Clinton campaign staffers hired a technology company to, quote, infiltrate servers at Trump Tower and then later the actual White House in order to try to establish a link from Donald Trump to Russia. And breaking this afternoon, sources telling Fox News that Durham's probe has accelerated, with more people cooperating and coming before a grand jury. Republicans say it is proof they've been right all along and that heads should start rolling.
This is what's so egregious and so wrong about it. I mean, you think about it, they spied on a presidential campaign. That's as wrong as it gets. But then we found out from this filing that they actually spied on a sitting president, which is even worse.
I would expect there to be, frankly, quite a few more indictments. I think this conspiracy, and I do think there was a criminal conspiracy, is broad and deep.
Everything's fairly placid up until about 7th grade, and then the 4 horsemen of the adolescent apocalypse arrive. Hormones, homework, dating, and acne, and things get very volatile very fast. The main symptom of this period of childhood development, apart from door slamming, is wild overstatement. No longer is anything okay or not very good. No. Even the mildest inconvenience is transformed into a horrifying world-ending disaster. The Titanic meets Vesuvius plus Y2K. 4 minutes late for school is the single worst day of my life ever. Waking up before 9 is like death. A pop quiz in math class? That's the emotional equivalent of ethnic cleansing in Bosnia, except much more upsetting. It's pretty intense. Thankfully, most kids get over middle school. Those who don't tend to leave home and not come back. They become interpretive dance majors at small liberal arts colleges, or they run for Congress.
All right, we're gonna come back with more of that, because you can't believe it how like this present day Congress people are in the Democratic Party. It's incredible. All right, we've got a caller. I'm not sure who this is, but I think it's Adolf. Hi there. Welcome to the Dave Weinbaum Show. Am I correct?
You're correct.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Not well. Why don't you call me back?
Roger that.
Okay, Roger that. My name is not Roger, by the way, nor is it that. Okay? All right, well, he's going to call back, I think. I don't think it's my phone, but... Hi, Adolf?
Can you hear me now?
Worse. It's much worse.
Worse?
Yeah. Pay your damn bill. What's wrong with you?
I pay my bill.
Yeah. All right, well, just...
Let me try a different chair. Maybe that'll work.
A different chair?
Yes.
You're supposed to use a phone, not your chair. What the hell's the matter with you? All right, go ahead.
Is that better?
No. All right, just go ahead and say what you want to say.
So you think Hillary is going to run for president?
Do I think she's going to?
Yep.
I hope so. I don't. I mean, nobody wants her, but yeah, let's go. Bring it. Bring it.
For all this stuff that's going on and yammering about indictments and all that other, they're never going to convict her.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I mean, most of the country believes that she did this. Even Democrats believe she did this. Okay, about 68% of the country believe that she.
And you're not going to convict him.
Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, but certainly, this is headed that way. You'd have to admit that suddenly we have this momentum going in that direction, and this prosecutor is doing what good prosecutors do. They put a puzzle together, and they get people to rat. They couldn't find anybody to rat in Donald Trump because he didn't do anything. They had the guys arrested. They had who did they have? Manafort, and they had Stone, and they had the Cohen. Cohen just lied his ass off, his ex-lawyer, and so they didn't get anything.
Durham did this so quietly and appropriately that we started wondering if anything was going to happen from it.
Exactly.
So this tells me he was working behind the scenes so well.
Yeah.
He's got the smoking gun.
Well, even Barr, who became a big rhino as the Attorney General, even he was the one that said that, yes, there was spying on the Trump campaign. He didn't say anything about spying in the White House and at their homes, But this is the allegations of Durham, okay? And so what he's got is he's got these little people like, well, not so much little, Sussman, her lawyer, and they're charging her for this. They're charging her for this continually. And they claimed to the FBI they didn't charge her anything. They lied to the FBI. Okay, and that shows also a way of hiding evidence. What do they call that?
I forgot the term right now.
Yeah, me too. All right.
Me personally, I hope they show her in Gitmo when they're done.
Well, could be. Of course, Rick is our Gitmo expert, but I'm not going to have him tell you today what he thinks because he has no proof other than that. All right, listen, you have a great one, and hi to your lovely bride, Joanne. And
she's doing great. She says take care.
All right, thanks. All right, you have a good weekend. Appreciate it.
Same to you.
Yes, fix your phone, will you? For God's sakes. I don't know. Is that my phone? Could it be my phone?
No.
That was a connection issue.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, everybody else has been fine.
All right.
So,
well,
thank
at least we got to understand them last
goodness.
week. I got to apologize. I probably, I'm not used to having these calls not work. So I probably took Jeff Zink a little longer than I should have. You know what I'm saying?
We were trying to see if it would work out because he usually has such great information, but eventually he lost signal and we
Yeah.
That was rough.
That was a rough one.
That was
and
rough.
I hate to have audiences go through that. They do it all the time.
Well, yeah.
They do it all the time on TV and all that.
It was hard for us, too.
It's terrible. What do you mean, honey? I don't understand what you meant by that. I know there was an insidious insult there. No, that's for you. Wait a minute. If she can whip me, why can't I whip her? I'm not going to whip her.
I'm not going to get into that on today's show.
Oh, my goodness.
I have to sleep
What is
sometime.
wrong with you?
I don't know, but you're always whipping me in here, and this is not right. Here, do me a favor.
It's not my finger on the button.
Do me a favor. You and Dr. Fauci have a session, okay?
He's a little creepy.
I wonder if he wasn't a psychologist or a psychiatrist too.
I don't know, but it's funny. I mean, the bobblehead is creepy, but he's based off the real figure. So
it sure is. You got that right. All right,
creepy
do
and
two more clips. 4 and
cracked.
5.
He's also cracked. Look at him.
Is he cracked?
He's cracked.
You're looking at
For
his
4 years, no dangerous conspiracy theory was considered more dangerous or more conspiratorial than the claim that Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign had spied on Donald Trump. The very idea that Hillary Clinton, of all people, had spied on anyone was preposterous, the media informed us. Only a lunatic would claim otherwise. By making a charge like that, in fact, Trump was emboldening our enemies and degrading the public's confidence in our democratic system. So it wasn't just a stupid opinion that Trump had. It was really a form of treason. And yet, as usual, Trump kept saying it. Watch him do it again in one of his last sit-down interviews as president with Leslie Stahl of 60 Minutes. Really, Leslie Stahl, is that true? We still remember a CBS News piece from 2016 that claimed that Donald Trump was secretly working with Vladimir Putin. So the question is, how did CBS News verify those facts? Walk us through your reporting process. Well, as it turns out, that particular story, the reporting came from reading a piece on Slate.com, probably while standing in line at Starbucks. Slate alleged that the Trump campaign was coordinating with a Russian bank called Alpha Bank, using a hidden server in Trump Tower. How did Slate.com know this? By consulting a, quote, small, tightly knit community of computer scientists. These scientists, Slate insisted, were totally nonpartisan. One of the sources explained anonymously, quote, we wanted to defend both campaigns because we wanted to preserve the integrity of the election. So here you have just another unnamed computer scientist defending election integrity. Makes sense. Don't ask questions.
Okay. All right. In about a minute or so, we're expecting Joe Alexander to be on the show. And he should have a lot of insight into the Trump family. He's been with them. He was a 6-year veteran of the Trump campaign. He's been through all the spying. I don't know how much he knew about it or what the conversations was. Well, maybe we can get a little bit of insight into that. And I think, from what I know of Joe, and obviously you have to have stamina to work for Trump. You have to be able to work a lot, be on call a lot. You have to understand what he wants of you. He might be too demanding for most. He might just wear out people. But he was successful, and he was successful for reason, and he was also successful as the president. When he was being, he had to fight him. He had to fight him with both arms and one leg. I think he was doing it all with one leg. So right now we're going to play Joe Alexander's song. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Ten long-distance runner for University of Illinois. Trump administration for 6 years, including doing all his rallies. New vice presidential candidate to be our next president, possibly after Donald Trump. Please welcome all the way from Illinois, maybe Florida, wherever he is. He could be at Mar-a-Lago for all we know. Please welcome Joe Alexander. Okay, so I wake up early in the morning, and I'm looking at Facebook, and I see this guy working out, and it's you. And here we send you a little thing to put you on TV. Why aren't you on that?
Well, I guess first of all, one of the reasons that I work out is I like to eat a certain fast food franchise out of Oak Brook, Illinois, and I have to work that some of those calories off one way or another, so, Dave. So that's one of the reasons I
so
work
you can't mention the word McDonald's. You can't give me a plug.
Well, McDonald's, yeah, sure.
Based in, let me show you something.
Illinois.
Let me show you. If you could see
Ray
me,
Kroc.
You can't see me, but here. I need a lot of plugs. I need more plugs than even Biden has. Okay.
All right.
My gosh.
You know what I do, Dave? Actually, all kidding aside, and this is honestly a true story.
Yeah.
I don't know if with your stores if you do it, but I actually in Central Illinois I fill out the survey on the coupon when I go to McDonald's.
Really?
And I get the buy one get one free if you fill out the survey online. So I fill out the survey and I find myself polishing off two quarter pounders of cheese. So I've got to work out, Dave.
Wow, and you're in shape, aren't you? You're still running and stuff like that. And you have a son that's in track.
Yeah,
doing
absolutely.
very well. Yeah,
absolutely.
Were you better than he is, or is he now better than you were, or what?
It's hard to say. I kind of jokingly tease him that he's taller, but I'm still better looking. So,
really, you say that to your son?
Well, I'm competitive, Dave. I mean,
you give him why would you? Because your son. We were just going through this about young people, and everything that's said to them and everything they do at a young age affects them sadly. He must be in therapy or something. I don't know. What are you
he
doing?
knows I love him. He's a great kid. I
all
just happen to be better looking than him. I can't, what's
God.
up his life? So
Can we stop with the better looking? So what do you do with the exercise? You're there in your shorts and you're doing this exercising. You're lifting weights. Are you getting chicks calling you left and right or what?
I can't reveal all of my secrets. I mean, seriously, I know you're a widely listened to podcast, and I can't reveal all my secrets.
Why not? I don't understand. All right. So have you decided yet? Have you accepted Trump's offer of vice presidency in 2024?
Well, there's a lot to be played out, but wow, what a week.
What do you think?
News, I mean, wow.
Yeah. We were just talking about that. I did my monologue on it. So I'm putting up my 24 Trump hat. You got to turn it around a little bit so they can see the front part. Yeah. No, how about the Trump part? Anybody could be running in 24. I mean, even Hillary. Okay. So let me know what you think about the Durham thing. What did you take from that? And also, you were around the Trumps from the get-go. Even in the campaign, What was the? Was there stuff going on about? Were they having conversations about? I think we're being spied upon.
Right.
I mean,
well, first of all, so my degree, Dave, is actually in history, and let me try to draw a historical analogy.
Yes.
In the summer of 1972, there were 5 guys that broke in the Watergate hotel complex in Washington, D.C., into the offices of the Democratic National Committee. They basically were looking for information that might be able to assist the Nixon re-election campaign in that year. Nixon, of course, won in a landslide in November of 1972, but basically we would later find out that these guys that broke into the Watergate Hotel were fishing around, and guess who they got paid by? The Nixon re-election campaign.
Huh?
Okay, so let's fast forward to 2016.
Yeah.
In the Durham report and throughout the Durham investigation, what did we find out? That the Hillary Clinton campaign of 2016 paid a technology firm basically to spy on the servers of the Trump campaign in the personal residence and then later in the White House. Tell me how what we found out and the information that was published in the Durham report is any different than Watergate.
Well, first of all, do you know who was prosecuting Watergate?
Yep.
Who?
Let's see, Cox.
How about Hillary?
Right?
How about Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
Okay, she was one of the prosecutors in Watergate.
Maybe she learned tips from it.
Secondly, do you know how many? You say they had an order from the Nixon re-election campaign. Well, how many of the actual intel in our government was the FBI, the DOJ, the CIA, the FISA courts? Were they involved in this too?
Exactly.
Were they?
And then,
I'm serious.
well, I think that
they were not.
Yep. And I think the irony is so rich to your point with Hillary Clinton literally being on that committee. That led to the resignation of Richard Nixon.
It did.
And
his own party tell him to get out.
Right, his own party. Meanwhile, there is so little coverage of this major significant news story. Now, you're talking about it. God bless you. I appreciate the fact that you are.
Yeah.
But the hypocrisy is absolutely deafening.
Well, the thing about this particular situation is you have the mainstream media hated Richard Nixon. The mainstream media hates Donald Trump with a passion like they are as bad or worse than even the most stringent Democrat. Okay,
Agreed.
And
agree.
They have been pushing this story that Hillary made up, the hoax, the Russian hoax. They've been pushing this since day one, day in, day out. You heard Leslie Stahl, her 60-minute interview, which wasn't all that long ago with Donald Trump, where he spoke about the coup, and she says, "Well, there's no proof here. We at CBS we don't run stories without any proof." That's Leslie Stahl. And Trump was saying, "We got plenty of proof." And so you would think that with this kind of proof that this did happen, you would think they would be up there saying, "Well, we're not sure yet, but maybe there is another side to the story."
Yep.
Something like that, even.
Yep. Well, and then Dave, can we talk about Jake Sullivan?
Yes, please. Tell everybody who he is and what he does. In fact, we got a Jake Sullivan tape here. Hold on. Which one is Jake Sullivan here? Here it is. Play. I'm going to play a clip for you, okay? Because our next clip is Jake Sullivan. Hit it.
Jake Sullivan did not ask questions. Jake Sullivan takes Slate.com very seriously. At the time, Jake Sullivan was working for the Hillary Clinton campaign. He cited the Slate story as evidence that Trump was indeed colluding with Vladimir Putin. Quote, "The secret hotline may be the key to unlocking the mystery of Trump's ties to Russia," Sullivan said. What a tool. "We can only assume that federal authorities will now explore this direct connection between Trump and Russia." So there was a bat phone in Trump Tower that rang directly in the Kremlin. Jake Sullivan stuck to that line for months. Here he is on CNN in March of 2017.
What we learned during the campaign was that very serious computer science experts, people who work closely with the United States government, had uncovered this secret hotline between the Alpha Bank, the Russian bank, and the Trump organization.
So what do you think of that?
I mean, it's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah,
let's talk about Jake Sullivan a little bit deeper. What is his current job with the Biden administration?
He's
you
the
can't make this
head
stuff
of the
up.
National Intelligence or National Security Administration, right?
I mean, you cannot make this stuff up.
No.
So he is evidently leading our national security apparatus. Well, back in 2008, he was an advisor on the Hillary Clinton campaign. Okay, so this is a long-time party operative hack, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So in 2008, he was a Hillary guy who then became an Obama guy. He actually briefed, Obama during his debate prep and things of that nature. Then he comes, he's back for more in 2016, and he presents himself as a foreign policy advisor to the Hillary Clinton campaign, where he's promulgating this complete BS of collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign. I mean, it's just utterly, it's just so bad on so many levels. And this guy's supposedly a national.
You couldn't make this stuff up.
No, you could not. It's absolutely horrible.
I mean, you'd have to be a great writer to be able to think this up. And,
right.
I mean, it's incredible what's going on.
And then if you want to take it a next intellectual step further, I mean, you're going to have Putin, who is going to invade the Ukraine. Even the Biden administration, horribly weak leadership that we have coming out of the White House today. They're like, oh, yeah. We expect Putin to invade the Ukraine.
I think Rick Henderson says I think they're going in because Biden wants them in. They're a great distraction. The problem is this is how wars get started and how we get sucked into wars like Vietnam and Korea, even World War II. We get sucked into wars, And,
well, and then again, so what? The silence is so deafening. The hypocrisy is horrible. But, they literally said this collusion between Russia and then the Trump campaign. Meanwhile, let's completely ignore all the conflicts of interest and all the money that Hunter made. Where's Hunter? Dave, where's Hunter at?
Where is he?
Where is he?
Well, it depends on which hooker he's at tonight. I don't know.
I mean, it's just.
He's not in jail where he ought to be. Come on.
Exactly.
We're living in two different justice systems here, obviously.
It's stunning.
That has to stop. That has to stop. There's no way we can exist with this with the two different justice systems that we have now.
Absolutely.
Not for long. And we got to do something about it. And the problem is it's so infested in our even our courts, And look at these DAs funded mostly by Soros that they just had a mayoral candidate in Kentucky shot by a BLM guy. He didn't hit him in his body, but he did put a bullet through his sweater. Okay, and he gets arrested. He's out in a day. On bail.
It's stunning.
He's out in a day. BLM put up $100,000 for the guy. Okay. Yeah. What? You think you or me are going to get that kind of discretion?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Okay. So there's reason. There's reason to disobey. There's reason to object. Possibly a reason to go even further than that. We can't live under that. That's not what America is about. That's not what our Constitution says. And if they're going to ignore the Constitution, we have to take measures and steps to stop that.
I agree.
Either if you don't want the Constitution, change it legally, or get the hell out of the country.
That's right.
But don't put your weight on me.
I agree. So well articulated, Dave.
Thank you. Well, that's very kind of you. All right, let me find out what the hell else. Trudeau is Trudeau a true dope? Is it? He's got martial law now, and I wonder if the Biden administration is really paying close attention to this. I bet they are.
So, let's talk about Canada for a moment. So I have a friend up in British Columbia, and I'm like,
wait a minute. You got a friend?
I have one friend. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
So she lives in British Columbia, and I'm like, oh, why don't you come down to this meeting we'll connect, blah 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 blah. She goes, Joe, I can't leave the country. I said, what do you mean you can't leave the country? Oh, well, Trudeau and there's a travel ban policy. We can't leave the country. And it was like so stunning. Like if I wanted to leave the country, I could do that. If you want to leave the country, you could leave the United States and come back. But it's just so stunning what's going on. And,
was this because of the truckers that they can't leave the country?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got the whole country locked down.
That's right.
For what?
That's right.
Well, what's his reasons? I mean, you could just lock him down for any reason. See, that's what I think the Democrats would like to do to us.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
So we can't let that happen, can we?
Not at all.
So you got to get your butt elected along with Donald J. Trump and fix this thing.
There's always stuff to work on, Dave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And this is important stuff, though. So
Dave, can I mention something? And this might be slightly off topic, but it would be wrong of me not to mention it.
Go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of Rush Limbaugh's passing.
Yep, I know.
And I don't know if you've talked about him yet, or
I had it written. I got it written down right here. Here,
but
up there,
Dave, I'm a little nerdy, and I go visit cemeteries of family members, loved ones, and people. Rush was a proud product of Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Sure.
Would talk about his roots there and growing up in Cape, in that beautiful Mississippi River town. But I found I've gone to pay homage at Rush's grave. He's actually buried in St. Louis.
Yes, I know.
Kind of on the north end of the city.
Yeah.
I don't know why. No one has explained it to me yet why he's buried there in St. Louis versus Cape or elsewhere. Do you know the answer to that?
I don't know. I don't have any idea. I have one friend that's buried, I think, in a Catholic a Catholic area up in North St. Louis. I don't know if it's the same cemetery or not. John McCook.
Yeah.
He was a McDonald's guy, and I went to his funeral, and he was Scottish, so they played what are those?
Bagpipes?
Bagpipes, yeah, for his funeral. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. Maybe his family came from the St. Louis area and then moved down to Cape Girardeau. I know some of his family. I know Andy Limbaugh, and I know I've never spoken to him personally, but we've traded messages, and that's his brother David Limbaugh. I played golf with his Stephen. I think he's was a judge on the Missouri Supreme Court. He's probably a practicing judge somewhere. So I kind of know the family a little bit. I never met Rush, though.
Well, I'm sad to say I never did either. But what just a legend, and he birthed conservative talk radio.
Absolutely.
And I think even what you're doing is, it's a result of Rush.
No doubt about it. I mean, there's no
and
doubt about it.
He was just a guy from the Midwest.
Yeah. That
had this core belief of values that he talked about. And I think that for those of us left behind, that it's our duty to talk about. And he was the happy warrior in a way, right?
Yeah.
He was funny. I could listen to Rush for hours. He was funny and humorous, and he took what the left believed, and he mocked it. He mocked it.
He was funny. He was brave. He was devastatingly picked on by the left.
Yes.
And he kept on going, and nobody agrees with everything he said. I didn't agree with it sometimes, but I always listened to him because he was always very interesting. There was a time in my life when not too long before I started doing radio, that I had a friend of mine that was telling me about what Rush said, this, that, and the other, and I says, well, I think this ought to happen, blah, blah, blah. He says, well, why don't you call Rush? I said, I don't want to. I was too scared to call him. Okay.
Right?
Really? So he called Rush. I mean, I wasn't there when he did it, but I think I listened to it, and Rush accepted his question, and he was on for like 2 segments. And that really pissed me off. And I said, what's wrong with me? I gotta get some toughness in me, and I've done that.
What a talented, great guy, though. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, look, he started this whole deal, and it's amazing how many people came out of that. I mean, he created a whole industry by himself, and he was a ne'er-do-well. He grew up as a ne'er-do-well. He was like the family black sheep. Okay.
Right. How many jobs did he talk about being fired from? Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And even as a radio guy, he got canceled. How many times did he get canceled? Hold on.
9 times.
See that?
9 times.
9 times. Okay. I'm in my 14th year. I've only been canceled twice. And you know what I say about the guys that cancel me? Thanks for the opportunity, but you know what? Good riddance.
Exactly.
I'm on my own. Nobody tells me what to do. These guys on Twitter think when this thing came out about Durham, I went to Twitter and I started putting that in there to see what I'd get. Well, all these liberals started coming at me. None of the conservatives, but the liberals. Oh my God, you're a liar. You're a fake. Twitter ought to take you off and all this stuff. And man, were they upset?
Well, it's really stunning on what's going on. I mean, Biden is so bad.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris is so bad. Nobody wants her. So now there's like this generational fight. There are Democrats who are trying to resurrect Hillary.
I know.
I mean, it's just stunning. But then you've got these modern day socialists that literally hate our country, and it's a fight for the control of the Democratic Party. And I don't know. I mean, Hillary again? Like, really?
We need you on that wall. We want you on that wall, Joe.
Which wall? Which wall?
We want you in the wall of being the vice president of the United States first, and then maybe president.
Well, any way that I can serve our great country, I'll be open to. So.
All right, and I'll write you a letter.
Sounds great.
I'll tell Donald, how good you are. Like he'd ever listen to me. Anyways, other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find you?
I believe your lovely wife Lisa's put a couple business-related things up on your website. So
don't go hitting on my wife. Now repeat what you just said.
You have a lovely wife, Lisa.
Yeah,
what
right.
I said.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you, Joe.
Very welcome.
All right, do the rest now.
If you have any new links, let me know.
Yeah.
I will do so.
So
okay,
you're on
great.
DaveWeinbaum.net, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So Joe, I don't know about this, but I bought a computer for my pet snake.
Yes.
Yeah. The dumbass ate the mouse. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Alexander, my wife is staring at me like, what's wrong with you? I just made that one up. I thought it was pretty good. Come on.
Hilarious.
Was it? You're laughing. Jay,
it's better than some.
Oh, well, Joe was laughing. That's the most
That one made me
important
laugh.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Rick seemed like he was laughing.
It's a mousy joke.
I think he hung up.
He did.
All right. Well, okay. All right. Well, that was pretty good, though, I thought. Okay, now we need to take a break, or I'll forget. Last week I got a little hurried because I had that extra interview to do, and it was fine, though. But the killer was, having the mistakes made. I don't know how these guys put up with it. Do you? Yeah?
I'm not sure. No.
All right, second set of commercials. You guys spend your money where they are, and they're all great people. And if you want to sponsor the show, call me after the show at 573-578-2700. It's a really good deal to get on the show, and we're growing exponentially. So hit it, please.
With warmer temperatures right around the corner and allergies ramping up, now's the time to get those AC units serviced. At Hartley's, we pride ourselves in offering outstanding service with fast response times. With proper maintenance, you can make those hot days be a lot cooler and remove those pesky allergens that always seem to find their way into your home. Call us today so you can be living a much cooler and healthier life. Hartley's, community born, community raised, community serving.
Call Hartley's Climate Control today at 573-368-3163.
Kent's Jewelry does custom engravings for almost anything. Awards, signs, guns, swords, mugs, yetis, and knives. Kent is the premier custom jeweler in mid-Missouri. We have a great staff, the technology, and equipment to create what you dream for, jewelry and engraving. Kent's Jewelry, 907 North Pine, downtown Rolla, 573-364-1030. That's 573-364-1030. Locally owned.
We can sum up McDonald's new crispy chicken sandwich in one word. Crispy. But also juicy and tender. Okay, it's crispy, juicy, tender. All one word. But then, also pickle. Oh, and potato bun, which is two words. Okay, we can't sum up our new crispy chicken sandwich in one word, so you'll just have to try it to understand it. Order ahead on the McDonald's app at participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Merrill's Quarry and Asphalt, 40 years serving cities, counties, and everyday businesses with driveways for people who live and work in our little piece of heaven right smack dab in the middle of America. Call 573-578-9101 for your free estimate of rocking, rolling, paving, driveways, sealing, and striping, too. That's 573-578-9101 for your free estimate. Busy schedule? Let your locally owned Price Chopper help you save time with online shopping. It's easy. Sign up to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app in the App Store or Google Play. Create an account and browse through the categories and choose the items you need. When you place your order, your personal shopper will get all of the items you've selected, taking the same care you would and following your notes. We offer free curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Start your online order today and no online shopping fee for a limited time. Go to tcmarkets.com or download our mobile app to get started. Price Chopper. Fresher savings every day.
Your home is your castle. You don't need unwanted hassles. Don't let those creatures move in to stay. Let us protect your investments. That's what we're all about. Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
Plank is locally owned and family operated right here in Rolla, a Google preferred business. Our customer service and your satisfaction is our number one goal. So call Plank today at 368-3333.
Plank Termite and Pest Control will save the day.
At Town & Country Bank, we are committed to providing exceptional service to our customers. We do more than just provide loans for our community. We help make dreams become reality. Whether it's a new home, farm, business, or a new car, we would love the opportunity to help. Stop by one of our 2 Rolla locations and let our friendly lending team remind you how special hometown banking can be. Smart, friendly solutions. Town & Country Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
All right, let's do Carlin germs. What do you think? We'll do that.
Oh, you know what? Let's see here. We did not pick out which one we want, so let me pull that up real quick.
All right, go ahead. That's good.
We got a couple here to choose from, and we'll go with this one.
Yeah, go with that one.
Germs. Where did this sudden fear of germs come from in this country? Have you noticed this? The media constantly running stories about all the latest infections, salmonella, E. coli, hantavirus, bird flu, and Americans they panic easily. So now everybody's running around scrubbing this and spraying that and overcooking their food and repeatedly washing their hands, trying to avoid all contact with germs. It's ridiculous, and it goes to ridiculous lengths. In prisons, before they give you a lethal injection, they swab your arm with alcohol.
Hillary Clinton was a Goldwater girl in 1964.
So? Satan used to work for God. What's your point?
I thought you'd all like that one. I don't know. I would guess liberals say, what did he say about Hillary? That was Allen, right? What's his first name?
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, who I think got fired because he got doxxed because of being a conservative. You know,
his show was canceled, then it was brought back on, and then it was ended again pretty quickly.
By the way, just within almost like a day, I'm on Rumble. I don't know how to use it yet, but we got a show up there because of Rick here.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you,
That's
Rick.
awesome.
And so you can go back, and the show plays with you can see us. So not that I'm much to look at.
That's a video
format. Selling point.
But my wife is
I don't know if that's a selling
these,
point.
These slobs are pretty good. They're good-looking young guys. So, anyways, yeah, I realize that. Do you know I'm 3 years older than Limbaugh was when he died? So
I didn't realize that. No.
I wonder if I had, I've been a businessman all my life, all my adult life, and the only reason, and I worked hard, and the reason I did that was because in high school I wasn't very, well, let's put it this way, I was I think the lower half of my class at Evanston Township High School. I played football, and I achieved many things there, and I got into college on a wrestling scholarship, so once I got to college, I had to figure out how to study and stuff like that, and I actually did pretty well. But that's been the story of my life, is that people always told me that I couldn't do anything. When I was in high school, I had a job, and they gave me some kind of a test, an aptitude test, and I took the test and said I had no aptitude at all for business. Well, here I am. I'm 50 years in business, and I've done pretty good. My son's in business with me, and I've done some things. Some were dumb and others not, but we've always tried to do good by our customers, and we've been pretty successful over the years. It's a little trying right now with the Biden administration and his ability to control our labor force as well as our product costs. Every business in the world that I know of, except for a few that are profiting during this, are having problems. So, it's a challenge, and we're going to do it. Anyways, if you want to call the show, 573-578-2700. You can't have conversations here while we're live. What's wrong with you people?
That's what we do is talk.
You're not talking. You don't talk in the middle of me talking. I'm the host. You say, hey, and I'll recognize you, but you don't talk while I'm talking into the microphone.
We're having our own talk over here.
No, you can't do that.
We're interrupting you for this.
Where's my producer? Where's my senior producer at? Would you control the set?
I did mute it so that you couldn't hear it over the interface.
Well, I heard it.
I can't control that part.
Well, no, yes, you can by stopping it.
But we had a special announcement.
We do.
What's your announcement?
Today is Karen Lewis's birthday.
Oh, okay.
So we wanted to wish her happy birthday. And
you could have told me that during one of the breaks.
Well, you were too busy talking. I couldn't.
Happy birthday, Karen.
I couldn't get in a word edgewise.
Well, because it's a talk show. This is what I do here. What do I chop liver here?
Well, it's easier to talk to
Rick.
Rick.
We even put it up on the sign. Happy birthday,
to Rick
Karen
than
Lewis. Oh God. I love doing this show, but why do you guys tear me down like this? That hurt.
I say at least hop a little.
Okay, well, I'm too tired to hop. How's that? I don't hop anymore. I'm old. You know, they say, "Oh, get up, hop out of bed." I don't hop out of bed. I just kind of slowly draw myself out and pray to God that when I stand up, I don't fall on my ass. Okay?
You do kind of roll yourself upward.
I do.
And then you sit there for a couple seconds.
Yeah.
And then you get up.
Yeah.
And this is the part that I really like.
What's that?
You take your little blankets and you pull them up to the top
I
of the
know,
bed.
because you told me to.
I really like that.
You like that, I know.
I do.
I know. Oh, God.
It's
baby.
the one neat thing about you.
Baby, can we take a break here?
Third commercial break. Stay tuned.
Office?
We have technical difficulties.
Is there an empty office in there or what? All right, let's get a room. Can we get a room?
I thought you owned one already.
Yeah,
we
got
several rooms.
Whatever. All right, this is getting out of control. All right, absolutely getting out of control. And we need to do a couple more clips. Let's do 7 and 8. Hit it, please.
But listen carefully to what Jake Sullivan said. I don't have a line into the FBI on this. Everything I know is from public reporting. So you'll notice that Sullivan went out of his way to say that, which should have been a very clear sign that it was a lie. And indeed, it was a lie. In fact, the Hillary Clinton for President campaign was coordinating directly with the FBI. A Clinton lawyer called Michael Sussman had been feeding false claims about Trump and Russia, once again from that crack team of nonpartisan computer scientists, to the general counsel at the FBI, a man called James Baker. But Sussman didn't stop there. In February of 2017, after the election, Sussman also met with the general counsel at CIA. So at this point, you may be wondering about the identity of those nonpartisan computer scientists who dug up all this new information about Donald Trump's direct connection to Vladimir Putin. Who are these people? Well, you may not be shocked to learn they weren't nonpartisan. Once again, Jake Sullivan was lying to us. A pro-Hillary Clinton activist from South Africa called Rodney Jaffe had put together a team of digital researchers. Oppo guys, we used to call them. Most of them came from Georgia Tech. In emails, Rodney Jaffe explained why he was doing this. He wanted Hillary to win the presidency because Hillary Clinton had promised him a job as a top cybersecurity officer in the U.S. government. So Jaffe wanted to help Hillary win. He said that. In order to do that, he gave his nonpartisan computer scientists a mission. Their job was to gather data they had access to thanks to a Pentagon contract in order to connect Donald Trump to Putin. Now, we know all this thanks to a new court filing from special counsel John Durham, who spent the last few years investigating the origins of the Russia hoax and is finally producing some material. In the words of Durham's filing, quote, Jaffe tasked those researchers to mine internet data to establish an inference and a narrative tying then-candidate Trump to Russia.
So, you know, one of the things that I tried to get the Libyats, who I affectionately call Libyats, was they kept asking me for the Durham report. I don't know that he's come out with a Durham report. I looked for it, actually. And, you know, have you read the report? They said. I don't know. I looked around, and all I saw was this report of what he has done, but I've never seen an actual report on the whole investigation. I don't think it's come out yet. If anybody has any knowledge that it has come out, contact me. You know, call the show and or give us a message. How do you give a message on our show?
So you can go to our show page on Facebook, or you can also go to daveweinbaum.net, and you can make comments there as well.
And where are our podcasts heard?
Anywhere podcasts are found, Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, any of those places like that.
Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Spreaker.
Spreaker is what we use to do the to create the podcast.
And also Rumble. I don't know how that's going to work pretty soon, but you know, I think they should hire me personally. I think this show is that good, and I don't know. What do you think?
Well, we just saw that somebody shared you to YouTube. So
yeah,
we should look into that too.
Somebody shared me to YouTube. I've got shows, I've got clips that I discovered yesterday going back to 2011 of this show, and what I said, which I think was interesting, because what I said back in 2011, and somebody made these clips like we're going to play them on the show, but because they're visual, you can see stuff. Like they made a little commercial with actual things you could look at while they're talking about it that represent what we're talking about that are kind of funny. And Yeah, it goes back to 2011, for goodness sakes, and now somebody is taping my YouTube shows. You don't know anything about that, do you, Rick? I think I know who it is.
It was just shared. It was.
I think I know who it is.
I think I know.
Yeah. Who, you?
No.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Keith.
Yeah, Keith Stevenson.
I think so.
Who used to be producer of the show.
Right.
A long time ago, and I like Keith.
Good guy.
But
Very
if you're
good guy.
making any money off of my name, buddy, we got a problem.
There's no money.
How do you know? What are you talking about? Joe Rogan, they made a mistake on his $100 million deal with Spotify. You know what the mistake was? It was actually $200 million. Okay. Terrible.
Just terrible for Joe
That's
Rogan.
horrible. I know. Oh, my God. How's he going to live?
Keep opening all your mail.
All right,
there.
let's do 9 and 10 on the Durham. Well, that'll get rid of all the Durham stuff, I think. Well, maybe not. There's too much that resonates from this Durham stuff.
It'll at least do all of what Tucker had to say on it. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Hit it.
The filing says that Joffe and his computer scientists intercepted internet traffic, that is, emails and presumably text messages, from, quote, Trump Tower, Donald Trump's Central Park West apartment building, and the executive office of the President of the United States. In other words, Trump was right. This isn't a conspiracy theory. His claims were true. Democrats were spying on Donald Trump, not just as a candidate, but as President of the United States in the White House, as well as in his own home. So has anything like this ever happened in American history? Not that we know of. But Jeff Bezos doesn't think you should worry about it or even know that it happened. Today's Washington Post informed its brain-dead readership that while, quote, Trump is once again claiming that he was spied upon, that claim has been, quote, debunked. Oh, really? How has it been debunked? Shut up! It just has! A government contractor spied on a populist presidential candidate, then passed the information to his opponent's campaign, which gave it to the FBI and the news media, which distorted it to create the illusion of treason, which was then cited by the politician who paid for the whole thing as a reason not to vote for the guy she spied on. Got it? It's a closed loop. Everyone's got a role. Here's Hillary Clinton during the presidential debates.
Putin, from everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit that the Russians have engaged in cyber attacks against the United States of America, that you encouraged espionage against our people, that you are willing to spout the Putin line, sign up for his wish list, break up NATO, do whatever he wants to do, and that you continue to get help from him because he has a very clear favorite in this race.
Okay, is that it? Yeah, we are about now to enter into lawyer land here, and I think we ought to play his song. Hit it. Ladies and gentlemen, attorney, columnist for Washington Examiner, Daily Caller, Federalist, American Thinker, OAN appearances. Now, what did he leave out? Let me think. I don't know. Anyways, all the way from Boca Raton, please give it up for my friend Elad Hakim. So, what are you wearing? What? Tell me what you're wearing. Are you a doctor about to make a?
No, listen, I'm casual today.
She's just casual today.
All right. Last time I got all dressed up and he yelled, so I said, you know what? I'm going casual.
What difference does it make whether I yell or not? You know I'm going to give you crap about it anyways, right? It's my job. This is my job to do that.
Get your crap and I'm comfortable.
Yeah, hopefully you're wearing shorts under that. I don't want to. Don't go any lower with the camera. All right. So when Trump wins in 2024, what will he try to accomplish?
Well, I think that he gave an interview, I think, with someone from the Epoch Times, and he indicated that his first order of business would be to try to rebuild the wall, start the wall again, and to worry about the immigration problem. And I think that's a pretty good idea because the immigration problem is kind of a catalyst for a lot of the other problems we're seeing now, whether it be crime, whether it be employment or jobs or wages, whether even voting rights. So I think that's what one of the things he should first focus on. But there's so many problems now, Dave, that it's almost starting from square one.
Oh
again.
yeah, that's true. Hey, what are you gonna do first as Donald Trump's Attorney General?
I'm gonna wake up. And then,
let me ask you a question. Would you accept it if it was offered?
Oh, absolutely! What an honor and privilege that would be. But I'll tell you.
Do you ever
what,
think about that? Now, what
No.
would I do if I was Attorney General? What would I do? What would I do other than Merrick Garland, who has set such a high goal for me?
Well, listen, I don't know what I would do. I know what I would do if I was the special counsel right now.
What would you do?
You know what I like about Durham. We've had
What?
how long have we discussed what's going on, whether or not there were going to be indictments? I think we discussed this.
Couple years.
2 years already,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
and I told you I thought there would be. And you know what I like about Durham? There are very, very few leaks.
There are no leaks that I can find.
You know what I mean? Like he's going about things methodically. And look, this latest information, Dave, it's a big whammy. I mean, this is a big
Isn't it?
deal.
You're an attorney now. You're not just a schmuck off the street. Well, you're a schmuck, but you're not just a schmuck off the street. You know what
Correct.
you're talking about. Okay?
I
Why
know-
is this such a big deal?
Well, because it could show potential, criminality. And it goes, when you play these video clips, of a year ago when Trump was being interviewed, and who was it with? Was it Barbara Walters, I think it was? Or
No, that was Leslie Stahl.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's a big deal primarily because it finally adds some real credence to what Trump was saying.
Yeah.
And pay no attention to how the liberal media is trying to spin it now. Durham has nothing in this game. You know what I mean? He's being methodical. He was appointed special counsel, and I'll tell you what. Obviously, I don't know him, but based on reports about him, he doesn't seem like the type of person that would go about filing something that significant without having some sort of evidence. He just doesn't seem to be that type of guy. And based on his reputation, they said he's a no nonsense. Let's go after it. And now they're looking to dismiss the complaint. I haven't read the motion yet, but they're saying, one, that it tarnishes the jury. I mean, or potential jurors. Well, I mean, look, this is a lawsuit.
Right.
It's not an ice cream party. You're gonna when you have allegations, the factual allegations, you put down the factual allegations, what you know.
Yeah.
You don't sugarcoat it. And it's clearly relevant to what is it, Sussman? It's clearly relevant to the claim against Sussman. So,
he is accused of lying to the FBI. Now I think I know what he was lying about. What do you know that he was lying about? Do you?
Well, only what was disclosed. I mean, what they say that he was lying about the fact that there were, what was it?
The fact that Hillary was paying him, and he said he wasn't getting any money.
He didn't
from
know
Hillary.
that it was being done for a client or for a particular person.
Yeah.
Where in essence he apparently did.
Yeah.
Look, Durham's filing is serious. If it's true, it can be the grounds for for who knows. I mean, people are throwing terms like treason around. This is serious, and there's speculation that it's only the tip of the iceberg.
Well, let me ask you, if it's proven that they were not only spying on him during the campaign, but actually have computers monitoring what was going on in the White House and his other locations, his other living homes, what would that be? What would be the criminal definition of that?
Well, I'm going to kind of defer to the criminal attorneys on that. I'm a civil attorney, so I don't know what the exact charges would be.
Well, you ought to find out and let me know next time you're
especially
on.
Especially on the federal level. But I'll tell you, it's really, really. I'd hate to use the term refreshing, but it is in a way refreshing to get some validity to what Trump was saying all this time.
Okay, well let me go back to the Mueller report then. What the hell was he supposed to do? Why didn't Mueller investigate this? He knew those things were out there. He knew those rumors about it being a hoax were out there. He probably knew about these going to the FISA courts via the FBI, and the FBI knew they were lies, or had to be the dumbest SOBs on earth. So why didn't Mueller do this? Shouldn't this be been part of his investigation?
Well, I have to look back and see the exact scope of what was within the parameters of his investigation. I thought it was the Russia investigation, and if that's the case, then he should have. He should have.
It was all about the Russia hoax.
We don't know what kind of external pressures were being, put on Mueller either. I mean, look, I can only imagine what Durham is going through. These aren't exactly the nicest players in the park, so to speak. So there could be other reasons why Mueller didn't do that. But listen, you raise a good point. I don't know why he didn't do it.
He said he looked into it and there was nothing there. Okay, now all of a sudden there's something there because of Durham.
Well, we have allegations. Okay, we have allegations. Yeah. So, I have to put my lawyer hat on, and
right.
You have allegations.
So you probably got some evidence.
I would assume that a lawyer is not going to come out, especially a lawyer of that quality.
No good prosecutor is going to offer something just off the top of his head. He's going to have something to back it up.
Correct. I agree with you. No lawyer of that caliber is going to make allegations of that nature without some sort of proof.
Right. So where does so Durham seems to be putting together this sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, and it seems one thing is leading to the other. So is he counting it, or is he getting people talking to him who are culpable to being charged? Do these people know what jeopardy they're in and are willing to go and talk about maybe who ordered them to do stuff?
I would suspect so. I mean, I would suspect that there are, and based on reports that I've read recently, just public reports, that's what's going on. That there's a lot more going on behind the scenes. That there are people that are kind of spilling the beans. And you know how it works, Dave. You start at the bottom, and you provide deals or immunity deals or whatever it is until you begin to get more and more information. And it seems like
I know how it works. So let's straighten people out here. Suspected but never convicted in my case. So let's not go there. There's no indictments on me, Betty. Anyways,
no.
Not that we know about.
Excuse me. I stand corrected.
I have not ratted on anybody. Let's play a Sicilian moment for him just to make sure that he understands. All right, hit it. I had trouble getting paid as a funeral director. My clients were a bunch of stiffs. Forget about it. You know, Elad, there's a reason why they were a bunch of stiffs. They talked. They talked to the wrong people about the wrong subjects at the wrong time. Okay? And yeah, they stiffed me, okay? But the end of the story is they're stiffs, and they're stiffs for a reason, all right? So don't ever think that I would rat you out, because I know what you've done. All right, so back to the show. So Elad, what's gonna? Let me ask you another thing. Trudeau just accused a Jewish MP, I guess that's some sort of congressman or something for the Canadians, of supporting swastikas. What do you think of him?
Not much. I didn't hear that story, but I think what's going on in Canada kind of speaks for itself. So I don't have too much to comment on that.
Do you have any inclination at all that the Biden administration might be listening and watching up there what's going on and maybe taking notes for future action in the United States of America?
I don't know one way or the other. I mean, it's quite possible based on what we've seen in the U.S. and what's coming out, what recently came out with regard to Trump and his presidency and beforehand. So it could be. I don't want to speculate, but it's possible. Listen, I wouldn't put anything past this administration.
So, is there any chance that prosecutors and or judges will be held responsible for bail-free, no-jail criminals? Well, I mean, where is it? You know, there was just a Jewish mayoral candidate in Kentucky that was shot by a BLM guy. Yeah, he didn't kill him. He shot a bunch of shots at him, and he got one through his sweater. The guy wasn't injured. But they put him in jail, and a day later, he's out on a $100,000 bond, posted by who? Black Lives Matter. So what about all these judges and these prosecutors letting these known criminals out? Did you see the one about the Asian woman followed by a guy into her apartment who was stabbed 40 times? And the guy had a rap sheet longer and more current than you can imagine.
No, I don't think it's going to result in any sort of culpability.
How do we stop this then?
Well, you get more conservative people doing the right thing. I mean, look, if you're going to be lenient on crime and you're going to be letting out criminals and allowing bail, if you're going to be doing that, then that's the risk you run. But you cannot necessarily penalize people for doing their job and following the law. It's the laws that are the problem. That's why you see all these liberal cities, have such high crime rates. So you got to change
the law. Is it the law or prosecutorial discretion? Are they following the law? Really? If you attempt a murder to somebody and you shoot at them, and you don't even, there's no motive other than who knows what the motive was, and it wasn't self-defense or anything, and you shoot at somebody and you miss, you just hit them in the sweater, and is there a law that says, okay, you can have bail in 2 days?
I don't know. It depends on the state you're in. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. The laws that we're seeing these days are crazy, Dave. And yeah, you're right. The prosecutorial discretion, prosecutors are deciding not to prosecute certain people for crimes that many of us think are disgusting. But listen, keep in mind, prosecutorial discretion doesn't equate to criminal culpability. They have a choice whether or not to do something or to pursue charges. And if they choose not to, and somebody goes out and commits a crime, you're not going to turn around and blame the prosecutor. Change the laws.
unless they're breaking the law by doing what they're doing.
That's different.
And I'm not sure the laws support what you're saying. Although we don't have the set of laws here, so we can't prove or disprove this.
But you are not saying. But your example didn't assume that they broke the law. You simply asked prosecutorial discretion. Yeah,
it was because I would be startled if that was in some law that you could go shoot somebody, at somebody, empty out your 9mm, and only put a hole in his sweater instead of him with the intent to murder him. And I can't imagine a law, can you, that says, okay, you can get out with a $100,000 bail within 24 hours. Where would that law be?
Imagine such a law.
I would love to find that law.
There's a lot of things I can't imagine. I can't imagine, teaching critical race theory and teaching children to hate being, Caucasian either.
Yeah.
But it's happening. There's a lot of things I can't imagine. But unfortunately, because the country is becoming so far to the left, a lot of things that we couldn't imagine are unfortunately becoming realities. So I can't speak to specific instances because I don't know the laws in each state. But you and I both know that prosecutors and laws in certain states are becoming so incredibly lenient when it comes to crime that who knows what's allowed now.
Well, that's something to study up on, I think, for me and you, is that what can these guys get away with by the law? What does the law actually say when this is happening? I don't know.
But give me a state. I mean, I'm happy to look into it.
Yeah, I know it's a state, right? I mean, I can't imagine the laws being that loose like that. But anyways, I can
tell you, Dave, the law in Florida is going to be different than the law in California. Okay, because in Florida we have a governor who is deeply conservative,
right.
And in California I don't quite know what you have.
Well, they're blown back. You mentioned critical race theory. They're blown back against that kind of stuff. In San Francisco, I think it was just 2 days ago, they replaced 3 members of the one of the San Francisco school boards because why? They were they were focused on changing the names of these schools, taking off people like George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson from these school names other than anything that was going on in the schools itself. They actually replaced 3 of them or got them kicked out. I don't know if they've replaced them yet. But so that's a big deal. That's San Francisco, man. You don't get much more woke than that.
Let me give you an example real quickly,
Yeah.
and I know I don't want to take up your time, but Florida, the House, and I just wrote a piece on this, the House in Florida and the Senate just proposed and are likely going to pass bill that prohibit public schools from referring to or discussing or limiting the discussion about sexual, gender identity, sexual orientation.
Yeah.
Do you think a bill like that would have any chance in California? Or
I don't know, but it ought to be
most parts of California.
It ought to be brought up and let them vote it out. But get a record of them doing it.
Like, it depends.
I don't think so, but things are changing right now. The momentum is changing. Do you feel it? I feel it.
I don't know if I'm feeling it from a social standpoint. I think that people are upset.
Critical race theory, masks, the new newly elected governor in Virginia, Youngton, who has now signed into law that you may not force a child to wear a mask, that it's strictly the parental and the child's decision to do this. Okay, and that's a law now.
The mask issue is gaining steam, or the no mask issue, because
that's part of the critical race theory too.
Down.
That's part of this critical race theory too. That's the other thing that's going on in Virginia, and people are up in arms on it. So it's happening, man. I'm glad you come on the show because
I hope it translates into votes come the midterms.
I think it will, and I'm glad I can inform you so much on your next appearance for OAN, and wherever else you're appearing these days, other than the Dave Weinbaum Show.
Dave Weinbaum is number one. Dave Weinbaum.
Wait. Where's your bio again? somehow is that on the second page of your bio or what?
Am I not? Are you not on there?
No, I'm not on there. What do you think my whole introduction of you was?
I am going
Daily
to
Caller, Federalist, and OAN. I must have missed my name somewhere.
I am going to put you on there right when we're off. But what bio are you talking about? Where?
Where did I see that?
You mean where
I saw this? I saw this off an official bio of you on an article I read that you wrote. I read your articles. I prepare for you. Okay.
I am going to put it on right when we're done.
Yeah, well, put it on all your stuff, huh? Why don't you? All right.
I'm going to put it on everywhere.
Thank you.
I promise you.
Other than DaveWeinbaum.net, where can people find and hire you?
And that is despite the fact that you attack me every interview.
I don't attack you. I don't attack you. I stretch your mind, okay? You got to admit.
No. The attacks come before the questions.
But sometimes you don't even realize that I was attacking you. I did it in the opening, and you didn't even know I was doing it.
People can find me at Thoughtfully Conservative on Facebook and Thoughtful GOP on Twitter, and then look me up with any legal questions, and hopefully on Trump's new platform soon. I don't know when it's supposed to come out.
I'm on Rumble. I just got myself on Rumble.
That's awesome.
So, and we already got a show on there from last week.
That's awesome. Rumble's they've got a good following, so that's great.
I figure if they offered Rogan, $100 million, I maybe could clip off a few from that. What do you think?
More than a few.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
So listen. So after eating my tiny grapefruit seeds yesterday, I asked Lisa if I was going to turn into one because I ate these seeds. She says, "Well, maybe you're already a fruit." Really, she said that too. It was true.
You told it wrong.
I told it. What do you mean I told it wrong? I told her so it was funny, and it got a laugh. Even Elad laughed. He doesn't like my stuff, so he's laughing anyways.
He's polite.
Anyways,
he's being very polite.
Shabbat shalom, my friend, and hi to your lovely bride, Amy, who, you know what? She was on the show a couple weeks ago, and I'm looking at her, and I'm remembering that story about her kicking you in the legs. And I said to her, I says, you know what? I'm sitting here thinking, if I say the wrong thing, you're going to kick me in the leg. So
yeah, don't mess with her. She's working out now too.
Oh, she's into the MMA thing.
Not
now.
MMA. I'm not. No. You see? Don't put words in my mouth. You see? She's into working out. She's on the treadmill.
God. What happened? Did something go wrong with the sound here? He has to yell at me? I don't understand.
I don't want to come back and say, you told Dave I do MMA.
Either that or don't give her the advice, because then the kick under the table will be a lot harder the next time.
Turn the volume down, my friend. Wow, what's going on with that? You're yelling at me?
Oh.
Okay, I have another question. Do you think I'd be a good lawyer someday?
I do, actually.
I think I would, too. And I have actually done, when my lawyers, I've done thing in my life of being in court a lot, to where I've even settled my own divorce
Shall we not
once.
go there?
No, I shouldn't go there.
Shall we not go
no
there?
Joke, no joke. I think you'd be a
Seriously?
great lawyer.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And I will live on that moment that you said that.
I wish I could transfer my license to you.
You don't like being a lawyer?
I like certain aspects. I like the thinking, and I like the intellectual aspect. And obviously I like to speak, but I don't like all the fighting. It's just gotten to the point where it's, especially with younger lawyers, it's all about fighting and less about realizing that it's real people, real problems, try to minimize the costs, solve the problems, and move on. I don't like that aspect.
Well, I'll just leave you on this other note. I was going to be a lawyer actually, but I lost my appeal. So no, I couldn't stand all the cancellations. I really just couldn't stand it. And you got to show up in court, and then it's all of a sudden it's canceled, it's postponed. You waste so much time. That's what I couldn't stand. Now, being in a court and watching people get questioned, feeding information to my lawyers to ask questions, that kind of stuff, and they actually did it. Now, my last lawyer, he wouldn't let me come near him. I had to sit 3 rows back because he didn't want me giving him stuff while he was there. So,
a lot of what you do here, Dave, is like the law. I mean,
I know. I think I have something in me that I think I've been in court and I've been in judges. I haven't always won, but a lot of times I won in a Supreme Court in North Dakota. And I had a gal do the stuff, but 4 out of 6 I appealed. I was on the losing side, and we won 4 out of 6 issues from the Supreme Court of North Dakota. That was something. And they know, the other side knew it was me that put those words in the lawyer's mouth. So, JP.
And now you're even married to somebody that has the initials of the law.
Yeah,
so,
my wife is Lisa Ann Weinbaum. The law. And you know what she does if I don't obey her?
Oh, no.
You know what she does?
I don't know.
Oh, shh. That's what she does. All right, Amy, we're going to send Amy a whip because I think you need some. All right, Shabbat Shalom. Get off of my get off my screen for God's sakes.
Bye.
Thank you, Elad. Bye. See ya. That was pretty funny, wasn't it? I love talking to lawyers. I don't know what it is. Judges, they come through the drive-thru, and I judge Berger. I give him crap. His wife called me about going to some function, and he says, "Yeah, he always talks about you." He's going through the drive-thru.
That'd be a great
Here's
time.
a guy in a highway vest, wearing a hair hat, and with a big finger, and I'm telling him about the law. Okay.
That'd be a great time to hand out some of those free certificates, just in case you ever need his.
Yeah. Well, they know me.
Here's one of your cases or something.
Come on, they all know me up there. One of them actually. He accused himself, and I hardly knew the guy. And I said, "Why'd you recuse yourself?" He said, "Well, I was on one case of yours and stuff." So I don't know, And I haven't won all the time, and but generally I know what I'm talking about, and it's not like I have this great measured knowledge of the law, But I know certain things that happen that shouldn't happen, that lawyers do, and I utilize it, and I tell them if they work for me. One of them worked for an insurance company on a slip and fall deal, okay? And the first thing they do is we're sitting at the table, and there's a jury box, and the jury box is behind me. My back is to the jury. My back is to. I says, "What are you guys doing?" I said, "What do you mean?" I says, "I should never have my back to the jury. What the hell's the matter with you?" And they looked at each other and says, "Oh, you know what? He's right." So we got it to where I faced the jury the whole time. And do you know what the verdict was? And they had this hotshot lawyer from St. Louis and all that stuff who told me before the thing, you should have settled. God, I didn't want to do this. But where are you going to get nailed? I went out to call my father, who was in Florida because he was dying at that time. It was 1993. And suddenly I got the call interrupted. The jury's back. They were out like 20 minutes. I came back, and it was a complete dismissal of her case. Okay? Nothing. I went up to that lawyer and I says, "Wow, what a good lawyer you are. Can I have your name so I can hire you sometime?" The look I got from him.
I was going to say, I bet.
It was great. Let me tell you. All right, let's do another clip or two. Let's do clip 11 and 12, and then I'll be ready for hopefully my next interview, I hope. Hit it.
Every speed bump is a full-blown catastrophe. Every disagreement, total war. Losing an election? They can't even talk about it. Close your eyes and try to picture the scariest threat you can imagine. The prowler at the door, the monster under the bed, an IRS audit. Now multiply that scene by 1 million sweat-covered nightmares, and you are just beginning to approach the level of terror the Democrats feel when they think about giving up power. It's not just a bad outcome, it's the end of democracy. Watch.
Is the end of our democracy in sight?
And I believe that the election of Joe Biden essentially paused our descent into just the complete upending of our democracy, but we are not out of it.
So Donald Trump's comeback, it's the end of our democracy.
We might see the end of democracy in the coming years.
So you're saying it's still possible we could lose our democracy here in the United States?
Without a doubt. If Americans lose faith in the veracity and honor of our elections, it's the beginning of end of our democracy.
I think that could be the end of our democracy, not to be too, pointed about it, but I want people to understand.
Hillary Clinton said a couple of weeks ago that if he runs and wins, that could be the end of our democracy. Do you share that fear?
I do.
Well, I don't want to be overly alarmist, but I think we should be alarmed because potentially this could be the end of American democracy. I never thought I'd be saying something like that.
Oh, boy. The end of our democracy. You notice how they all say the same thing? I mean, the talking points go out and they say the same thing.
Say it's like they're on a script or something.
Of course
Just
they are.
regurgitate the same thing over and over.
Yeah. I mean, my gosh. And then they're threatening. The funniest thing they said on when I was fighting this thing on Twitter was, well, Donald Trump got kicked off of Twitter. Like that was something that he was some criminal thing that he did to get kicked off of Twitter, and so it's unbelievable what they do. So I'm expecting a call, but if I get it, is there a message there from Laura? Okay, whatever. She's either going to call or she's not, but we're going to go forward.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
I heard that next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Central Time, Trump's going to give a speech on Telegram. And I guess it's called the Trump Train in Telegram, if you haven't connected to that or have it in your list. But that's supposed to be at 5 p.m. Tuesday. Live speech from Donald Trump.
Okay. Well, maybe he's going to announce it. I don't know.
Yeah, great comment here from Pamela Tanner, too.
Democracy ended when election rigging began. There's always, she's right, but there's always been election rigging, but not at the level of what they did. And if you don't believe, all this leads up to the election of 2020 as well, because now that we were seeing how low and depraved the Democrats will do, including spying on the president while he's in office, at his homes and at the White House. Okay, what won't they do?
There's a new film coming out called 2,000 Mules, and they geo-tracked people in various U.S. cities going and dropping ballots off at various ballot boxes in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Tracked them with their cell phones to these different locations, and they would put the ballots in, take these gloves off, and discard them. And every time they did, and then take a picture of what ballot box they were at so they could get paid. And they geo-tracked every single one of them. And the movie's coming out to document it.
So we have that information. Who has that information?
I heard it on a report that I heard earlier this week, so I'd have to look it up so that we could post it. Yep.
All right. What else did Pamela say? Great point. I don't know which one I made, but well, thank you. And good mid-morning from Owen McNamee. Good morning, my friend. And Pamela Tanner is in tears. I don't know why she's in tears.
Oh, she was laughing at one of your jokes earlier, I think.
Can't wait to see the movie 2,000 Mules. And
I'll try to look it up real fast. Yep.
I don't know what she was laughing at. I like to know if you're a comedian, you want to see the people laugh. You have to wait for it. You can't just immediately go do something. It's all about the timing. You got to give them a chance to swallow what you just said, because sometimes, when you're deep like me, sometimes it takes a while to, get the joke, so to speak. Oh, I can't believe I just said that. I don't care.
So there's a link there to learn more about that movie that's coming out.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Great. All right. Any other things out there?
Not yet. Nope.
Okay, let's play 11 and 12.
We did 11 and 12. We got to do 13 still,
sorry.
though. Yep.
13, and then we'll start the others.
Yep.
Hit it.
But people like Max Boot and Liz Cheney do not see it that way. They are too fragile to face their own unpopularity. To people like that, the prospect of rejection by voters, of losing control of the country, means literally the end of democracy itself. Imagine feeling that way. If you really believed that your election loss meant the end of America and the beginning of 1,000 years of darkness, you might have trouble keeping perspective on politics. Every election would feel like climate change, the most profound existential crisis in the history of the world. And if your side ever lost an election, whoa. How do you describe a disaster that existentially existential? Honestly, words would fail you. You'd have only animal sounds.
Donald J. Trump is now President of the United States. President Obama is the ex-president. And Mr. Trump, for the moment, introduced for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America.
No!
I mean that lady. They actually had a camera on this one lady, and she just like had a mental breakdown,
Bug-eyed, and oh yeah.
Oh my God, it was crazed. Crazed.
I remember watching the election coverage that night, and like NBC, you could tell when they realized what was happening, and Trump started taking the states that he couldn't take. He started taking counties that have been Democrat for all these years, and the revelation hit them. He's going to win. You could just see the expression on their face.
We have montages of that. In fact, I think we have them currently. I don't know if you have them on there somewhere. Montage of Trump.
I'd have to look for them online real fast.
All right. Well, I wouldn't have to worry about playing them. But let's go back to and I want to call the show 573-578-2700. It appears my final interview is not going to call in, and I'm not going to call her. How's that? And let's see. We are on clip 13, The End of Our Democracy. You want to hit that?
Yeah, we did that one just now. That was the last one from Tucker.
Let's do 14, 15, and 16.
Okay.
Then. All right, hit it.
The damage here is unbelievable. We've never seen anything like this. And America was torn. For 4 years, we were at each other's throats because Hillary Clinton, her campaign, hired people to try to make a connection between a server in the Trump Tower and one at a Russian bank that's connected to Putin. I mean, this is outrageous. And, this woman who's always smiling and is like, Donald Trump is evil and I am the great salvation. The truth is she's been through more criminal, quasi-criminal activities, from erasing 33,000 emails that many of them classified, saying she never had a classified email on her laptop or her iPhone when she was the Secretary of State. And she's got all of these problems, and now they're getting to the guts of it. And I think by trying to frame the President of the United States, every American should be furious, and every potential defendant out there knows that they're coming for you.
If these allegations by Mr. Durham turn out to be true, the ones that have been leveled against, I believe, these two lawyers and maybe even a third lawyer, you have to let the chips fall where they may fall. I'm a rule of law person. I believe the Constitution, all our rule of law derives from that. I'd be careful before we go so far as to link her to this. And I've heard some people inflate the rhetoric and equate between Watergate and here. But remember, President Nixon approved and actively engaged in the cover-up. If that is proven, Judge, or for anybody around the table, anybody watching, Mrs. Clinton will have a lot to answer for. But before we go there and make that leap with her, I think what we have on the table alone is disturbing.
So you're saying it's Obama who's behind this?
I'm saying that the two or three lawyers that Mr. Durham has leveled these charges with and said they've went out and perhaps hired someone to infiltrate then-candidate Trump's servers, that should disturb any American.
All right, and I wanted to put a stop on that one because that was Harold Ford Jr., I think. He's an ex-congressman, a black, And here he goes saying, you know what, we're going to let the chips fall where they may on this Durham thing. I thought that was kind of interesting. You know, that was not the kind of response that I've seen from any of these liberals on Twitter, for sure. Nothing in the mainstream media. They still haven't apologized for being wrong about Trump being right about being surveilled. I don't know. Does anyone know of anybody that said, wait a minute, we were wrong? Anybody out there? Call the show, 573-578-2700, or message me on Facebook or
DaveWeinbaum.net.
All right. So we're wide open now, and let's play number 16, and then we'll do some other stuff. How's that?
This is worse than January 6th, 9/11, Watergate, Hindenburg combined. That's what CNN would say if this, in fact, were Trump and not Hillary. In this case, they are focusing instead on Joe Rogan, claiming that his use of the N-word was another January 6th. This is another illustration of the news spigot. Like when with Mueller, the legacy media can turn that spigot up full and just blast it 24/7. Then the Hunter laptop, turn the spigot off. Everybody's like, what happened? Where'd it go? Biden wins an election. You don't hear about Hunter Biden. Then Trump flushes paper down the toilet. Spigot comes up and it hits you in the face. And now you got this collusion. You got real, authentic Russian collusion. This is all about Hillary. And the spigot goes off.
Okay. So we've got this Twitter libs now are all saying, I don't remember this happening before, because Durham was kind of, they kind of forgot who he was. And so the liberals were all of a sudden they want to kick Durham out. They want him out now. I don't remember them saying that the last couple of years until this came out. Now, Nadler created a law that prevented Mueller from being fired. I don't know whether that law was passed or not, but I think it was. And I think a lot of Republicans voted that Mueller should have not be bothered by politicians trying to fire him. So there you go. And if anyone was compromised, it was Mueller. If he couldn't find back then what was going on now, and it was pretty obvious, he wasn't going to investigate it. And we had no intention of finding the truth. None.
And I'd be interested to find out why he didn't want the truth out.
Yeah, and I think there ought to be an investigation into that. There could be a collusion on his part and his nasty little Trump-hating lawyers. All right? Jen Say, former Levi brand management, she was like president of the company. And she's about 40 years old. And she obviously is quite talented. Well, she quit her job because she didn't believe in mandates for kids. How about that? And they wanted her out. They offered her $1 million to get out, and she didn't even take the money. Now, that's a person that's got some principle, don't you think?
100%.
Yeah. So it looks to me, now, I don't know, what do you all think? Does it not look to you like the libs got caught in major treason? Now, even Elad didn't have a word for it, but it sounds like that to me. There's got to be sedition or they all talk about this as if the 1/6, the January 6th thing, and they always refer to that like that has some kind of a meaning. Other than when I brought up, Trump even offered 2,000 National Guards. Oh, that's a lie, a proven lie. You're a liar. Well, that's not the way I see it. I don't see Nancy Pelosi coming out and saying that's a lie.
No, in fact, they have, you talk to people, they say there's actually documents, because to do that, you have to submit certain documents. They have the documents that show that he put his signature to it, but it had to go to McConnell and Pelosi, and they both rejected it.
Yeah, and I thought it had to go to the mayor of D.C.,
I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and anything you say, oh, you're a liar, you're a traitor to me, and then they block you. And you know what I found also interesting is that some of the guys that block me after saying you're a effing, you know what, they block me, and then the next day suddenly I'm unblocked. I wonder if they just want to hear what I do or see what I say,
Could be, yeah.
Yeah. So,
blocked you long enough, or you lose interest,
so,
and then
you know what? I'm probably I think they just want an advantage over me. They want to hear what I have to do. They're probably listening to the show. Hi guys, how are you living out there in the cloud that you're in? My God, I would hate to be like you. I would absolutely despise myself, and you ought to despise yourselves. Straighten up, all right? We're all going to be judged someday, and you guys are. Yeah, maybe I'm in trouble, but you know what? You guys are in real trouble. All right, and in my opinion, looks like Libs got caught in major treason. The woman who was killed by Alec Baldwin from that gun accident, her family is suing him and the production there. And it was found out that Baldwin, who has demonized the NRA, he could have gotten an expert from them, but ended up with an unqualified so-called expert that didn't check the guns properly. And, and then him. He was the last guy to get the gun handed to the guy that was that was
the prop master or whatever.
The guy wasn't qualified. So he shot her and killed her, and I think there's going to be some problems for Alec Baldwin on the way, because he said he never pulled the trigger. He said it on television, and these lawyers that are suing him, they did a reenaction of what really happened, and they're showing the guy passed the gun to him. He didn't look at the gun, just pulled it out and pulled the trigger. So how's he going to weasel out of that one, I wonder? Anyways, there's a major recall of San Francisco school boards. I talked about that with Elad. 3 of them, and they were focused on renaming schools away from Washington and Lincoln, people like that. Now, Lincoln, a guy who actually created the Civil War to stop slavery and save the slaves and free them, right? And all of a sudden they want to get rid of him. Incredible. It's like I say, there's a lot of people in this country that if they don't like it, if they don't like our Constitution, legally change it. And if you can't abide by it, then you ought to go. You just ought to go. Yeah, say goodbye. You got that, and there's a lot of people who help you out with a one-way ticket. You want to go back to Venezuela, Honduras, Africa, the Middle East, Iraq. Yeah, you want to go? Well, that's from San Francisco. Okay, you want to stay in San Francisco? Yeah, but you can't do that and be an American. Okay, you can't not obey the Constitution or its laws and stay. You got to go. That should be a constitutional law too.
I agree.
Of course, that would apply to some Supreme Court justices, wouldn't it?
You have a player like Albert Pujols that used to play for the Cardinals. He's now a legalized American citizen, and he talked about how outside of the day that he gave his life to God and getting married to his wife, it was the third most important day of his life was becoming an American citizen. He took it very serious. I don't mind having people like that here, the ones that do it legally.
I saw Albert Pujols on opening day once, and when he walked out of there and went to third base, I looked at him and says, "Who the hell is that?" Holy cow.
13-round pick.
He was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, huge. And he's playing third base. He hit a foul ball once. And you know how you like to catch foul balls, and you think you're a hot shot and all that stuff. This ball went so damn high that it disappeared in the clouds, and it came down with fire behind it. It's like a little comet.
Yeah.
Guess where it was coming towards?
You.
Coming right at me, coming right at my head. And I put my little hands out, and I looked at the thing, and you know what? At the last second, I pulled them back, and it hit the rail of there where, I swear to God, the stitches of the ball embedded themselves. Okay? And it was on there for like 3 months. They didn't even clean it off. Okay? Just a reminder to me that would have been not smart to do.
I remember the time that Mark McGuire took out, they put Big Mac land up there, and he took out one of the Big Mac signs.
Yeah.
They just left it out for the rest of the year. It's kind of like a montage.
That's called free. A lot of free advertising right there.
And there's a rumor that Albert Pujols, now that it looks like the DH will be coming to the National League, that maybe
he might
he's
go to
coming
St.
back
Louis.
to the Cardinals. So we'll see what happens.
I love that. I would. Oh man, would that be great?
And Waino and Yachty final year. It makes sense.
I just cashed a check, another check from the St. Louis Cardinals, because I didn't want my tickets anymore, and I don't want them because they back Black Lives Matter. You know, Black Lives Matter. The same people that bailed a guy that tried to kill a Jewish mayor, not a mayor, but a candidate for mayor in a Kentucky town for no other reason, maybe, than he was Jewish. You know, and Black Lives Matter bailed this guy out, 21-year-old guy. You know, didn't know the guy, didn't know the mayor. Somebody hired him to kill him. Why? And this is what Black Lives Matter stands for? You know?
It's really interesting.
I got news for you. Jewish lives matter. Police lives matter. Black lives matter. Don't ever tell me I don't matter. Don't ever tell me my children don't matter. All right? Your children matter. My children matter. And you know what? Your families matter, too. Your families matter. They need fathers in the neighborhoods. They need fathers to be there. A street corner does not make a good father. 100%. That's something I told Clarence Thomas, who's well aware of that. Boy, I wish I had a tape of that conversation. That was also in 1993. That was very interesting talking to him.
I find it very interesting how, remember they even had BLM on the mounds and all that? They didn't stay on there very long. You notice that they came off pretty quick and they never went back on there?
On the what? Oh,
on
the
mounds.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Why? Gee, I thought they were proud of that. On the mounds, and it was supposed to be at Black Lives Matter in all of our embassies. I wonder if they're still there. Pamela Tanner, I saw a picture of Joe Biden with a shirt. That crack pipe lives matter. Yeah, giving blacks, that's another thing. I think that's one of the worst measures of hatred for blacks right there. Yeah, let them smoke crack. Let them kill themselves. That's what that is. It's a sad joke on the black community. This is supposed to give them the black vote?
No, and again, I had a conversation with a black gentleman 2 weeks ago. We had about an hour-long talk. He's anti-BLM, anti-Biden, anti-Obama, pro-Trump, pro-military.
There's tons of them out there.
Because he says, read what BLM stands for. Their mission is not what they say it is. But you have to do the research, and people don't do it.
They're Marxists.
And he takes a lot of heat because people say, you don't support Black Lives Matter? He says, no, because all lives matter.
Well, I had a gal with when I called the Cardinals and told them, when I go to the game, sometimes I stay at the Chase Park Plaza, right across the street from where the McCluskeys live, who I got to get him back on the show now. He's also a lawyer. He got his law degree taken away from him, I believe, law license.
They're trying to, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, got to get him back on the show. But I said, the police wouldn't go out there Because of who? Who was breaking there? That was led by Cori Bush of Black Lives Matter. And they threatened to kill him and his wife, and they did it several times. And so the gal said, well, you don't understand what they stand for. Oh, yes, I do. In fact, I want you to get DeWitt and get him on my show. He can explain to me why they're giving money to people that are threatening other people to kill them, and there's no St. Louis cops that'll come get them. Why? Well, and you're going to sponsor this, and you expect me to pay you the kind of money I've been paying you for 30, how many years? Almost 40 years. 40 years I've been paying these guys.
And I remember when Mark McCluskey was on, and he said that actually the officers couldn't respond because, remember, they were told to stand down.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, and they've been threatening him since, so it's always fun. And he's running for United States Senator. We'll see what happens. He's going to have a real tough battle with Eric Schmidt because he got the Supreme Court to end the mandates. That's a pretty good thing to run on. And so we'll see what happens, but he's a good guy, McCluskey.
I think
yes.
Vicky Hartzler is pretty strong, too.
Yeah.
She's got a
She's
good proven track record, as well as Greiton is still in there.
Yeah.
So
you're a bit of a political analyst now, aren't you?
Well, I'm working on it, dear.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to work on some of the more local stuff.
That's very cool.
Okay. I'll keep you apprised.
I'm so proud.
Yes.
But Eric Greitens, though, I think he's going to have a harder time to win with his history.
Still, the point is that we have these 4 strong people, and they're all vying for the same position. And so we have this tendency for the Republicans to fight each other in the primaries. And then by the time somebody wins, they're out of campaign funds and don't have much left to go on to fight whoever won the Democratic primary. And so this is a habit that they have.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens here with that.
Honey, can I make a suggestion?
Uh-oh.
Your nose is very shiny.
Well,
no, seriously, I'm looking at your nose right now, and it doesn't look that way. Yeah, it does. Do you see it? You see it
looks
too.
white.
I know. It's kind of weird. Okay.
I don't know why it looks white.
Neither do I. I'm looking at the picture.
Okay,
just look at you.
Look at me in real life and not the camera, then.
Okay. Well, I can't.
I noticed that earlier. I'm like, why does my nose look like that?
I'm running a show here, honey.
Could be the lighting's my guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you have suntan lotion on your nose.
Who knows?
Yeah,
Nose.
All right, we're coming towards the end. Did we see anything else?
Nothing new. Oh, my mom did say here, because she provided the earlier comment, the link to that movie, the 2,000 Mules movie.
Yeah.
It's going to be an eye-opener for sure. They made sure and geo-tracked people with their phones so that they could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt what they were doing, and they've got multiple people that did this.
Oh, well, there's no doubt about it. You know, and it's the big lie.
And then they're clicking their photos by the ballot box so that they could prove what ballot box they were at,
and
so
they
they
have
could get
that
paid.
information. That should be really
the last Dinesh D'Souza documentary was very eye-opening. Remember,
was that Dinesh D'Souza?
Dinesh D'Souza.
Is that
this is his movie.
Who did that?
Yes,
I got to see that.
Remember, we went to Waynesville to see Hillary's America, and that tracked the entire history of the Democratic Party, and it's just
Saul Alinsky, right?
Well, that was her. That was her protege.
Right.
I mean, inspiration. Yeah,
right.
mentor. But it was amazing what the Democratic Party did.
Rules for Radicals that Chris Adamo, also a good friend of the show, we have put his book up there. Rules for Defeating Radicals. And Chris is great. He thought he was on the show today, and he starts. I thought he did, anyways. I might have made a mistake with that, but because he starts, he does I especially like people, Elad, who push the show that they're going to be on, who promote the show. I like you to promote your appearances. All right, now suddenly he's going to put my how much you want to bet that he doesn't remember to do this, that he's going to put me in his bio. Yeah, he said that before. All right. So we might be going to war with Russia because of phoniness. Mayor Eric Adams, the race card, using the race card, there's a race card alert going out. This guy was a Farrakhan lover, and he called a bunch of white cops. He called them crackers. And now he's identifying with these criminals out there. Well, he was a farce. He didn't run that way. I know that. He's an ex-cop. Defund the police is dead. Okay. And now Democrats are demanding tax cuts. I think you're going to see a big change in how the Democrats act. They're going to act like little conservatives now. They've got no choice. Otherwise, they're going home. 30 congressmen and women in the House have announced their retirement. 30. That's, I believe, an all-time record. All right. It's been a fun show, and thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks for everybody that promoted the show. This is Dave Weinbaum. I'll be back with another edition of the Dave Weinbaum Show next Friday.